Okay guys, what up? Oh my god. It's been some time since I last played, or at least streamed, Reverse. And so yeah. Oh my god. Wait, let me take a sip of water. Okay guys, what up? So yeah. I actually posted a poll on my Twitter, on my Zitter, if, should we pull for Recoleta or not? And everyone voted like, yes girl, Recoleta. And so, you guys said I should do it, so yeah. We should start off by, oh my god. Willow! I can't do this, you guys. I can't. Oh my god. Also, first sense pulls is only 7 unilog. I'll keep that in mind. Hello, Oomph. Hi, Oomph! Hi, Laura! How are you doing? Oh my god. I don't think I'm ready. Also, she's mineral. I could swear she was like plant of lettuce. Oh my god, let's go. Okay, nothing. Nothing as well. Actually, I don't think wait a second. Because, yeah, I didn't get this. Good on you. I'm doing alright as well. Though I am a little reluctant about this. Because, you know, some people might not know, but I am in Reverse Twitter lurking quite a lot. And so I don't feeling too good about seeing Aleph. Like, oh my god. Can't ChatGPT stop talking? But also, yeah. I'm doing alright. I'm feeling... Okay, yeah, I'm not feeling good about this sample, but also... Oh my god, Poltergeist. Nothing as well. Brimley! Oh my god, I don't know how I did not have Brimley yet. Can this game stop fucking around? Oh! Oh my god! Guys. Do we have a good feeling about this? Or nah? Okay. Fuck it, Weeble. Please. Please! Hell yeah!
An experience even more noteworthy than spending 2 weeks hiding out in a university bathroom, being carried around in a suitcase.
Oh my god, I'm so happy. Wait a second. This occasion calls for a drink! Hell yeah, hell yeah, hell yeah. I'm sorry for day drinking, but Recoleta, my beloved. I should download Reverse again. Yes, you should. Please, please, please. Please download it again. Also, just for the sillies, should we? Actually, I don't know how I don't have Eternity yet. So, and oh my god. I was thinking this week I was just speed running. Like 2.0, 2.1, and 2.2. Because I skipped those. I played them, but I skipped them because I didn't have the time to read them when they first came out. And oh my god, Eternity fucked up big time! Eternity, how does it feel knowing you fucked up? You fucked everything up. So now I'm gonna pull for her. Let's go. Okay, nothing. Oh, dang it. Isol, my beautiful baby girl. Princess Angel. Yeah. Also, I was like grinding prior to opening stream, so that's why I already have all my tasks done. And I watched the trailer on accident. So, I'm just claiming everything, cause why not? Isol forever! Also add me if you guys want to. So yeah. I don't have a good feeling about this. Because why is Aleph kind of serving Bloodborne? Please tell me I'm not the only one who thinks that. Also, okay, I already got the Unilog. But also, let me get her Psych Cube already. Oh, I didn't actually get the Unilog. Oops. But okay, I'll finish buying stuff off stream. Oh, how are you feeling? At least we have like Soneto. Oh, I miss her. I miss her so much. My beautiful daughter. And Vertin. Also, is this Recoleta? I think so. Okay, prologue. Our story begins on the evening of March 22, 1991. Okay. Let's see. What's this about? So the Platonic year whirls of new, right, and wrong. Whirls in the old instead. All men are dancers, and their trade goes to the barbarous clangor of a gong. W.B. Yeats, 1919. It's the final days of March, and the daylight hours in Ushuaia are shrinking away. Past the busy season, the city is faded and quiet. At this moment, in a cafe at the end of the world, conversation and laughter are sealed within an airtight glass dome.
Hace algunos años, trabajé como guardabosques en un campamento en Cuernavaca. Ahí conocí a un poeta surrealista mexicano. Estaba especialmente agradecido de que estuviera ahí. Unos animales habían entrado al campamento, los valientes por él. No fue gran cosa, en realidad. Como muestra de agradecimiento, me explicó esta historia. Una que ocurrió en un pueblo del desierto de Sonora, llamado Amalfitana, en 1975. La gente ahí seguía una creencia muy poco ortodoxa, que giraba en torno al Cabo de Babilonia. Un día, una investigadora con una maleta llegó al pueblo. Vino a estudiar sus costumbres locales. Una razón nada sorprendente para que una intelectual erudita apareciera en un remoto asentamiento del desierto. But little did she know, this dusty old town and its peculiar custom would lead her down an entirely unexpected path.
Also, to start off strong, oh my god, she is so beautiful. I love everything. Oh my god, this shade of green goes so well on her. Like, oh my god. Actually, wait a second. Oh my god, everything is so pretty. I love her fit. Sometime I have to sit down and probably like rank their outfits. That would be a fun little idea. Because oh my god, people are serving in this game.
Hold on. Sorry to interrupt, Recoleta. Does this researcher have a name? She could be Nora, Joanna, or Teresa. Any name, really. I feel like you want people focusing on this story, not keeping track of who's who.
Reverse 1999 does beat character designs, doesn't it? Oh my god. I have actually, for some characters, I have a lot to say about their outfits, especially, this may not be a surprise, but especially Isolde. Oh my god, I love, 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 love her attire. It's so good. Confusion and shock intertwine on the storyteller's face.
Thank you for your advice. But she isn't a Nora, or a Joanna, or a Teresa. She's just herself. A paracausality researcher.
You see that look? She's halfway to eating you alive. Face it, Maria. She wouldn't be the loca we know if she listened to anyone.
Ah, alright. So you didn't like the opening. Fine. I'll come up with something new. Maybe I'll start with a bit of exposition on the Gaia Babylon, beginning with its origins, as a secret relic created by an Aztec priest, imprisoned by the conquistadores.
The mysterious Dai's origins never get a continuation, as her story is interrupted a second time.
I don't know if that's going to do much, hermana. I'm beginning to think we'll never figure out what you're trying to say with this novel. And, well... and this isn't your fault.
Ay, Dios. Just tell her, Maria. We're going back to Buenos Aires.
¿De vuelta a Buenos Aires? ¿De repente? ¿Así? ¿Sin más?
Also, what do you think about her Spanish? I've heard that she has like a Chilean accent, but I'm not sure since I'm not like Hispanohablante. I'm not. So I don't think I have like the parameters to judge this. I've seen some people say like Elif's Spanish is way worse, so what do we think about Recoletta's Spanish?
Pancho, Maria, what's going on? Did I do something wrong during our travels?
The startled storyteller eyes her companions of the last 2 months, searching for reasons.
Ah, see. I know what it is. I've bored you with my constant rambling over this novel. No, Recoleta. It's got nothing to do with your novel.
Don't you get it? We're flat broke. Why do you think we're stuck here scrubbing tables?
The man slams his damp washcloth on the table to emphasize his point. His voice breaks the illusion of silence in the cafe. I do hear it, the accent. Oh, that's cool. At least, like, I don't know. I feel like, at least I'm happy they got, like, this right. Since, oh my god, 2.2 was kind of, it was kind of cheeks. It was kind of poop from a butt. Saying this as someone who has been to São Paulo, okay? I don't like São Paulo, but oh my god. It's probably one of my least favorite cities in the country. But still, oh my god. I'm hoping this is I think this is Argentina, right? I think, at least I'm hoping Blue Epoch got this right. I'm hoping. I also have kind of beef with Argentinians, but I hope you guys will be done right here, okay? I'm praying.
Because we can't pay for all the mate we've been drinking.
Oh my. But mate is really good.
That wasn't a question, Regoleta. We've crossed the continent, crashed the readings of all those prestigious poets, and leave the way a real artist should. And I admit it, it's been just as amazing as you promised. But we can't go on living like this.
You know that we both care about you, and we believe in your novel too.
Oh my god, mate mentioned. Yes, I love mate. It's really good. I really like to have it with like every day, really. I don't drink it every day, but I would if I could.
Well, I'd be lying if I said this journey meant nothing to me. Getting to ride around the continent on a motorcycle like Che Guevara himself.
Che Guevara?
I never could have imagined I'd get the chance to go on an adventure like this. We got to live the dream.
I've never tried it. Oh my god, really? You should. It's pretty good. It's really good.
A real dream. Except for those days when the motorcycle broke down. Though that was a real tribute to Che's journey too.
Don't tease, Pancho. Recoleta, since you invited us to join the Visceral Realists, we've both found amazing new ways to channel our inner poetry. Even though I still don't understand what in the world you're trying to say with your novel, or for that matter, what visceral realism actually is.
Maria, Pancho.
You told us not to worry about the definitions, to feel and to live in our words. We did just as you said, and it felt great. But...
She looks out at Ushuaia, feeling a chill. Snow falls from the dimming sky. The season is shifting. Soon, gray and white will blanket the colorful houses of this desolate land.
Ahora el frío del invierno se instala y lo único que parece importante es ese pequeño pueblo ficticio.
The storyteller sinks back against their accusations, searching for words.
I appreciate your honesty, amigos. I was worried the problem was much worse than all that. Winter here isn't as dreadful as you think, and I know just the place to keep us warm. It was 1520. Arcanist Ferdinand Magellan.
What the Sigma? Magellan? No, wait.
Over the vast gray sea, he saw spots of light in the distance. An island. He named it Tierra del Fuego. For the next 400 years, Ushuaia faithfully served its role at the end of the world. It became the continent's penal colony, and its largest building even served as a prison. Many Arcanists were exiled there. By the turn of the century, the Arcanist hunt had reached its peak, and the Comala Sanatorium was built. Well, as you may already know, at that time, most Arcanists were believed to be victims of madness. The sanatorium was their ship of fools. However, as people began to realize that Arcanist blood wasn't a guarantee of madness, fewer and fewer were imprisoned there. By 1947, it was officially closed. Until the 1970s, when a group of people from the National Foucault Studies Association returned to the island.
Oh my god, Foucault mentioned the Panopticon!
And opaque theories that no one could understand. They rebuilt this place and gave it a new name. After a long period of construction, the Comala Sanatorium became a prison once more, one designed to hold Arcanist criminals. They were taken from the streets and the psychiatric clinics, from secret societies and rebel groups. Any Arcanist deemed mentally or socially unfit would be locked away there. This association claimed the inmates would receive the best treatment, and they would fully recover before being returned to society. A prison, a medical lab, a sanatorium, call it whatever you want. That is what Comala is today. And we could spend the whole winter there. It'd probably be the easiest winter we've ever had. All that it requires is a little bit of acting. It won't be hard to pass ourselves off as a bunch of unstable crackpots. A touch of madness comes parceled with the gifts of being an Arcanist.
Girl, this sounds awfully dangerous. What?
That's your brilliant idea? To get us locked up in an asylum? You understand we'd be prisoners there, don't you? It's not like we get to put our feet up and relax by a fire.
Her increasingly agitated companion turns his head aside, catching the faint outline of a patrolling gendarme through the frosted window.
You want to go to jail? Well, see that man over there? Go greet him with a pipe to the jaw.
Oh my.
For the whole winter.
Sounds like a good idea.
You're joking.
Recoleta, please. We're not messing with the gendarmeria. We're going to my aunt Julia. She said she could take us in at her vineyard up north near the capital. But with harvest season, they could use all the help they can get. We'll return to Ushuaia next summer. Or when the winter comes. It'll still be great.
Recoleta's expression is as cold as the mate tea on the table.
I hear you, amigos. But respectfully, I must turn down your offer. This has been more than just a road trip for me. I know sticking around here for the winter won't be easy. But this could be my last chance. What if things change again? I can't just wait for spring.
Recoleta.
What did I tell you, Maria? She never listens. Wasting your breath. Adios, Recoleta. I don't think we'll meet again.
Pancho's apologetic words freeze in his mouth.
Mierda! Los gendarmes are looking straight at us.
What?
The cafe door swings open. A gust of cold air and dampness sweeps through the room. Recoleta's hair stands on end with a chill as she returns to face the door.
Stop right there! You three match the descriptions of some intruders at the poetry meeting in Casa Pionera.
What the Sigma? Hey Yumph. Hi Yumph! What's up? Recoleta plans a response only to hear the scrambling sounds of her companions bolting away out the back door.
Just when I thought things couldn't get any worse.
What the Sigma? Oh, alright.
Program activated. Charging.
The bones will tell.
Random bullshit, go.
Faraday's miracle. Under attack. Loading.
The music.
Aim and shoot.
This is not a mistake made by man.
Calm.
No matter.
Charging.
The bones will tell.
Eliminate target.
Huh? Sorry, over?
The gendarmes are left behind in the cold, but the flustered young rider still dares not. Yeah. Until she stumbles on a patch of wet and mushy snow. What the Sigma? She's all. Oh my god, girl, you took a thrashing. Lucy. Yes, I love Lucy. Oh my god. I love her.
Gracias a Dios. Creo que los perdimos. Are you alright?
Oh my god. Baby girl princess.
Gracias. Better to kiss the ground than kiss the gendarme's boots, if I must choose. Wait a second. Doris, is that you?
Oh my. How does she know Doris?
Funny
Or
how life
Erd?
moves in circles and puts an old friend in my path. How have you been? Are you paying another visit to Comala? Doris.
Hi, Yop. Hi, what's up? A name falls from the sky, offered by a girl who has just face planted and cannot see the figure before her.
Timekeeper, could she mean her, Dr. Doris?
I think so. I think that's what she means, right? Gracias, yeah.
Was I mistaken?
She wipes the snow from her face. Still dizzy, she makes out the stranger before her. As her vision clears, it becomes apparent that fate is not a perfect loop. At least, the person holding the suitcase in front of her is not the same woman she met before.
How strange. I've never seen two people so alike.
The gathering of oomph, right? It's so... oh my god, it's all oomph.
But please, forgive me. It's been a long day. No need to apologize. In fact, the person you just mentioned sounds like someone we're looking for. Could you tell me where you last saw her? Sure, Excuse me. You're not from around here, are you? Your accents and those clothes give you away. Come with me. I know a warmer place to talk.
And oh my god, I've been thinking this for a few minutes now, but oh my god, Recoleta is so charming, so dashing, like oh my god. Everything I strive to be. Oh my, a lot of trails.
The moment armies start to march, the world stands still. You fight or fall back, charge forward or run. Those are the only rules on the battlefield. I don't see a start time on this report, nor does it state the reason for or the demands of this war. That's what you think. The scars left on the land may be the most obvious form of destruction, but the true devastation of war is one that develops gradually in the souls of people. You don't? Young writers have all been exiled, sent down a path with no signs to follow and no destination. In dark days of bloody conflict, soldiers often find comfort in scriptures and verses, or in letters from their loved ones. They hold those words close, a fragile piece of home, a brief solace from the roaring of the battlefield. But as they fall one by one, they learn the bitter truth. No destiny awaits them but death. That bitter homesickness still weighing heavy in their hearts. In dreams, maybe. Walking the streets of your hometown, spending a lazy afternoon at the writing desk. Dreams can take you anywhere, but live there too long, and the lines between fiction and reality will blur, and soon you'll never wake up again. Soldiers crawl through trenches, roll in the mud, and charge to their deaths again and again, while words are forever trapped within the confines of poetry, made to live, die, and live again under the golden prophecy. I can't stand the way poets talk.
Oh my. Okay, next one. Actually, should we check these out later or what? I think not. Authority, it's always so flexible. Buenos Aires Division intake report. The Buenos Aires Division has received members of the Storm Research Team, Ulrich and Regulus. Woo! Both are to be temporarily stationed at the division while undergoing basic health examinations. The timekeeper and her assistant received the message upon landing at Tierra del Fuego and have departed on a mission. The message source and details of the operation have been reported by Soneto. Our site currently has no access. Other survivors taken in. Yay! Barcarola! I love her! Also, hot take perhaps, but we know who the Sigma Red Hat Impromptu unit is, and it's not Olive, okay? A pureblood arcanist and musician aboard the Free Breeze. Fatutu, a pureblood arcanist, and a member of the Nukuteao people. Further investigation of her people is required. For the full risk level assessment report, see attachments 1 through 35. Alright. Oh my god, Barcarola mentioned. I love her. Reports, endless reports. Were there only ever reports? The Ushuaia port explosion. The tremors from the explosion at Ushuaia port shook the surroundings for nearly 10 seconds, after which strong winds carried the flames across the dock area. Thick smoke spread for several kilometers. The explosion injured 12 people, over 200 residents were evacuated, and it took the Navy and Fire Department nearly 6 hours to contain the fire. Unfortunately, key logistics facilities were reduced to ruins. Investigations confirmed that the explosions originated from 3 sources: an oil storage tank and 2 cargo warehouses along the third dock. However, the disproportionate scale of the explosions raises suspicions of arcane skill involvement. It is still unclear whether this incident is related to the Xeno mutiny, and simultaneous investigations are ongoing into other arcanist organizations that may be responsible. What the hell is this? You got this report? This is all you're handing in? Panic is already spreading. Do I need to remind you that Ushuaia is our nearest deep-water port? Flames higher than the lighthouse, seawater dyed blood red. This catastrophe is bringing up painful memories of the war from over a decade ago. Our wounds are being torn open in the worst way possible. And after all this time I gave you to investigate, you're just giving me a list of possibilities? A few days ago, people suspected those lunatics locked up in prison, but what the hell can they even do besides bash their heads against barbed wire and spout their pathetic rhetoric? Maybe they scribbled out a doppelganger on a pile of backwards poetry, conjured up a few imaginary hot air balloons to float them to the port, and then molded a ton of bombs from mud and ice? Fat chance. The only thing you got right was not including them in your list of suspects. Otherwise, I'd have you thrown in that prison alongside them. Oh my. Things are heating up. Literally. More than circles. A ring that closes on itself? That is far from enough to define the essence of fate.
According to these news reports from Ushuaia, there was an arcane attack on the pier about a week ago. All the ships in the port were destroyed. Could Manus Vindicte be responsible for this? Or perhaps the Xeno rebels?
Hard to say, but things have been suspiciously quiet these past few days. I had been hoping we'd find some clues here in Ushuaia, after we lost track of the Manus in the Free Breeze shipwreck. They would have gone to ground somewhere remote and off the radar. Indeed, it's possible they've already left Ushuaia. For whatever reason, it seems they haven't been pushing for the storm to happen quite as eagerly as before. I have a strange feeling about it all. They're definitely up to something. For now, it seems our new friend's story lines up with the intel from North. It seems the Xeno rebels really did bring Dr. Dorez here. We should see if there's anything more she can tell us.
Timekeeper.
The chief assistant hesitates.
The Foundation doesn't have any intelligence on Tierra del Fuego. If the Manus really are here, then we'll be on our own. The closest Foundation branch is in Buenos Aires, 3,200 kilometers away.
That's all I get? We could have exchanged some farewell poems, read them out loud like we used to, and shed a few bitter tears over our heartfelt goodbyes. But you know what they say. It felt like a sacred moment in time. Like something unworldly. I just stood there, frozen, as she walked up and fixed a loose thread on my sweater. I stared at her until my fingers went numb, and the letter almost slipped out of my hand.
Miss, could you tell me what's in that direction?
I followed her hand as she pointed forward. Strangely, even though I could see she was blind, I had a feeling that she knew exactly where she was pointing, and where she intended to go.
That's the way to Comala prison, Senora.
Is that where you're headed? I could walk you there if you'd like.
Thank you, miss. But I think I found my way.
She held a typewriter. How ironic that God would give her, at once, both books and night.
I am Recoleta. What may I call you, miss? I hope you don't mind me asking, Senora. I didn't mean to pry. It's only that I have to know. You're a writer too, aren't you? I've been working on a novel and, for some reason, I have this feeling you could be a character in it. Forgive me. I'm just so excited.
I really want to remember this moment. Please, may I have your name? Or whatever you'd like me to call you?
I don't think I'll ever forget her smile. It was soft, kind, almost merciful, and oddly, it felt so ancient.
No offense taken, Miss Regaletta. But first, I have a question for you. What does literature mean to you?
Sorry? What a question it was. I wasn't expecting anything like it.
You're a writer, are you not? And one, I sense, with purpose. Tell me, where does such powerful motivation come from?
Actually, well, I'm not sure, Senora. I have my pursuits and questions, but literature is neither the goal nor the answer to them. Literature is, well, it's just literature. I suppose if I had to define it, I'd say it's a tool. A kindling for fire, or a lens to see through. A means to explore and raise questions from different angles and express our perspectives.
And what an interesting perspective you've expressed. I see. But how does literature make you feel?
As though I'm a kid looking through a kaleidoscope for the first time. Well, maybe that's not the best way to put it. Perhaps something a little more subtle. Just when I was looking for the right word, she turned away with a little wave, heading toward the prison, her feet crunching over the fine snow. So she must have gone to the prison.
When did all of this happen?
About 3 days ago. I remember the sun came out for a while that day, and the streets were glistening with melting snow. You've heard of Gomella Prison, haven't you?
Word by word, the question turns from an implication into a declaration.
3 days ago. Then we may be able to catch up with her there, Timekeeper.
You're right. We need to get there as soon as we can. Whoa, amazing. So decisive, assertive. A true show of character. You must be the very archetype of a charismatic leader. What's left to say? Whenever the protagonist has what they want fall into their laps, we're all quick to complain about lazy writers using Deus Ex Machina to keep the story together. So, let's not dwell on it.
She reconciles this observation with a silent nod to an unseen author.
But anything can happen in a place like Ushuaia. It's a city where the day may only last 4 hours, and the streets are full of exiled arcanists.
We appreciate your help, Miss
Recoleta, please think nothing of it.
Miss Recoleta. I'm Vertin, and this is Sonetto. We're investigators from the St. Pavlo Foundation. Pleasure to meet you.
She's so polite, my beautiful daughter.
Likewise, likewise. Glad that I could help. But listen, ladies.
The girl winks playfully.
Everything happens for a reason, and now it's becoming clear. You're going to Gomella Prison, and so am I. Maybe it's fate that brought us together.
What's your business there? If you don't mind our asking.
Oh, it's a writer's mission. But anyway, we're friends now. If you're going to Gomella, you'll need someone who knows the way.
Hell yeah. Oh my god, so far I really like Recoleta. She's very nice. She's really, I don't know, charismatic. I like her. The place that time forgot. Excellent. Everything is going according to plan. Fate will not reveal its hand, at least for now. The great riverbed winds through the frostbitten earth, disappearing into the distant horizon. A neat yet dilapidated circular complex stands alone beneath the snow-capped mountains, as if abandoned by God, humanity, and ghosts alike. Outside the fence, 3 uninvited guests discuss their plan to get inside.
Behold, Gomella Prison. It's the biggest building around. When the sun comes out, it looks like a rusty button stitched into the earth. Everyone tries not to pay attention to it, but it's undoubtedly one of the most important places in town. This way. Careful. We're heading uphill. Oops.
The young rider begins to slip again. She's prevented only by Sonata's quick reflexes.
Thanks. So, my new friends, you're from that St. Palominos?
Palominos?
St. Pavlov Foundation. And Vertin is the timekeeper there.
Yeah.
Ah, very impressive. Sounds all official and polished. Then, I take it you've already got away into the prison?
Oh my god, I think she has no idea what... Yeah. She is quite funny, I like her. The gate presents an unwelcoming face to the world.
I'll draft a letter to headquarters right away. Once they approve it, they'll notify the local branch in Buenos Aires. From there, they'll need to inform the Argentine government, who will then issue us a permit.
Excellent. Looks like our bureaucrats still have some worth. No offense intended, of course.
Since we're pressed for time, I believe we can ask that headquarters give high priority to our request. If all goes well, we should have the permit in about a month.
A month? Oh my god.
Ah, how expedient of them. But you know what? Maybe we shouldn't bother all those hard-working government officials with these trifling matters after all.
She instantly returns to her previous judgment.
I have a simpler solution that suits the urgency of our cause.
That sounds great. Oh, where are you going, Miss Recoleta?
Before anyone can stop her, the young rider hurls herself up the wall, scaling the side with the sort of skill that immediately suggests she's done this before.
To the other side of the wall, of course. From Guadalajara to Ushuaia. There has yet to be a wall that could stop me.
Oh my.
Come on, ladies of the Foundation. Soneto, take my hand.
Sneto looks utterly flustered.
Miss Recoleta, please. A reckless act like that could have serious consequences. Please come back down. In fact, while the details of our mission are classified, I should warn you it may be dangerous. We cannot guarantee your safety once we're inside. Perhaps it's in your best interest to return to town.
What? That is definitely not in my best interest. What sort of pusillanimous coward would I be if I just abandoned my fated companions here? Of course I'm going in with you. Or rather, you're coming with me.
Oh my god. She's so full of shit.
Someone's coming our way.
From the other side of the prison fence, a predator's gaze locks onto the figure perched on the wall.
Stop right there. What do you think you're doing?
Caramba, it's her again. The jailer of Comala.
Ay caramba.
Did she say jailer or jaguar?
Oh my. Let's go for our star team. Also, oh my god, it's all... I don't know, I think I messed it up while I was doing Limbo a few days ago. So yeah.
Let the overture begin.
Also, before you guys get on my ass, I don't know nothing about team comp. So I just put characters together and pray for the best.
We worked on this collaboration together. I'll write you into my paper.
Miss Recoleta, haven't I made myself clear? I don't want to see you here again.
Why does the Jaguar have a sword if she doesn't have what do you call it? Opposable thumbs? I have many questions, but I feel like none of them will be answered.
Jailer, we meet again. What a delightful encounter on such
A sudden gust of cold wind interrupts her.
lovely day.
So lovely.
Would you please just leave this place alone? I'll never understand why a promising young woman like you keeps snooping around a prison. I can't make this any clearer. Trying to break into Kamala will do nothing to get you inside, but it will get you into a world of trouble with the gendarmerie. So, will you stop these senseless breaking attempts? Kamala Prison is only accessible to academic researchers and journalists, and even they must have official credentials in order to enter.
Isn't there any other way to pay a visit? I truly do need to get in there.
She racks her brain for a plausible excuse.
Sorry to interrupt, but did you just say official credentials?
Yes, you heard me right. And you are?
I'm the timekeeper of the St. Pavlov Foundation. My assistant and I are here to visit Kamala Prison on official orders from the Foundation. Here, this is my ID.
Oh my, this girl is so full of shit. At the thought of lying, Senato's lips fail to open for even a squeak. She goes flush red with embarrassment. She's like, guys, looks around. Precious daughter. Through the prison fence, the jailer examines the pair as she takes the ID in her sizable paws. It is at least a very presentable looking card, boldly stamped with the seal of the St. Pavlov Foundation.
This is indeed legitimate.
She murmurs.
Welcome to Kamala Prison. Apologies for my earlier behavior. It's been a while since we've had any official visitors.
Frighten the girl you are. Kamala Scholars. For a drifter, a stay behind an iron-barred window can feel like just another stretch of desert.
Día tras día, la investigadora de paracausalidad se escondía en la naturaleza fuera del pueblo de Amalfitano, estudiando los datos que había recolectado. Una tarde, al anochecer, una voz llamó desde fuera de su cuerpo. Ella dejó el equipo y las cintas y salió afuera. Un hombre estaba de pie, curioso, frente a su puerta. ¿Qué haces aquí?, preguntó, levantando ambas cejas. Nada sucede en Amalfitano en estos días. El local se presentó como el empleado del banco. Probablemente tenía la cara más amable del lugar. Ojos brillantes, mejillas levantadas, una mandíbula suave. Era una cara llena de esperanza. La investigadora le mostró los espectros que había estado recopilando. He estado recolectando historias sobre el dado, explicó. Quizás ellos contienen la clave para explicar la aleatoriedad que muestra el destino. Ah, eso realmente me intriga, respondió rápidamente el empleado del banco. Me encantaría escuchar todo sobre eso, pero debo irme. No debo llegar tarde al funeral del pescador de dunas. Y con eso se fue. 3 días después, los mismos pasos regresaron a su cueva. ¿Volviste? ¿Cómo has estado? ¿Lograste llegar al funeral?, preguntó. No tengo idea de lo que estás hablando.
What?
Respondió de manera cortante. No soy el hombre que crees que soy. Su rostro estaba agotado y demacrado, sus ojos hundidos profundamente en huecos vacíos. Era como si toda chispa de vida le hubiera sido arrancada, dejándolo solo con una cáscara vacía. La investigadora insistió que no se había equivocado. Conozco a las personas por su naturaleza más profunda, hasta la sincronización de sus espectros. Nunca me he equivocado antes. Lo que tú digas, el hombre murmuró de manera áspera. No entiendo nada de tus ideas tan elevadas. Solo déjame ir. Ha sido un largo día de pesca y lo único que quiero ahora es desplomarme en mi cama tambaleante. Se alejó con pasos que sonaban exactamente como los del empleado del banco.
As you might have noticed, Miss Burton, this facility isn't just a prison. It's also a research center. Its full name is the Panopticon of
The
Commonwealth
Panopticon! Oh my god!
Association in 1975. We've hosted workshops, academic sessions, and even lectures about the Panopticon. You may even have seen some reports.
Type shit.
Experts of psychoanalysis and scholars from various fields have come here to exchange ideas and seek collaboration in their studies. In many ways, the Panopticon is unlike any other prison you've seen before.
I see. No wonder Miss Recoleta has gone to such lengths to become a part of it. Actually, my assistant and I are here to inquire about a prisoner named Doris. Does that name sound familiar?
Not that I recall. Could she have used a different name? But does she look?
She'd have arrived here about 3 days ago. It's also possible that she came as a visitor, not a prisoner. She's a blind woman who always carries an old typewriter. She used to be a doctor at the Sao Paulo Veterans Residence in Brazil. And on the subject of different names, she once wrote for Atu under the name Erd.
I don't think I've seen anyone fitting that description. And as I said, we haven't had any visitors in some time. Certainly not in the
Oh
last...
my, I accidentally skipped it.
Walking towards Comala prison.
Certainly not in the last 3 days. Yeah.
Someone must have mixed up their memories. Simply put, I don't recall seeing anyone by that name or with that description here.
I see. Thank you, miss. Perhaps we made a mistake.
Says that the current line of questioning is going nowhere. She shifts toward a different topic.
Miss Recoleta, you've gone to great lengths to get into the Panopticon. Would you mind telling us why? Finally, I've been waiting for you to ask. I'm here to find my pen pal in Comala. You have a pen pal? In here? Yes. 6 months ago, I went to a book exhibition in Guadalajara and came across the contact details of a few writers. I sent them my novel and asked for feedback. Looking back, it was a bit forward, but nothing unheard of between writers. A lot of friendships start through letters, you see. And Aleph wrote back.
Recoleta produces a thick stack of letters from her coat. The recipient's address changes with each letter, reflecting the turbulent lifestyle of a wandering writer, yet the sender's address is eternally constant, Kamala.
And how much do you know about this pen pal of yours? Oh, well, he calls himself Aleph, which is a grammatically masculine word, so... So you assume Aleph is a man?
A reasonable suspicion, but in her experience, never a certainty. Yeah, like Marcus. Baby girl, I love Marcus.
Yes, he's probably a poet, a writer, perhaps even an alchemist. He's one of the brightest people I know. There's never been a question that he couldn't answer.
Okay, LFGPT.
I've asked him about religion, politics, history, potions, even critters in length and breadth. Can you imagine someone who knows all those things and so extensively too? And he helped me with my novel. He always seems to know the best ways to bring my characters to life. Honestly, he's so insightful. I've begun wondering if he's omniscient. With his help, my story grew richer and fuller, like a well-tended plant. Strangely, can't seem to take it any further now. It's as if the roots have been sapped of their strength. I couldn't understand why. So, I resolved that I would see him in person to find out.
Again with this story about your uncanny pen pal? I've already told you 1,000 times. It's all very moving, but it still doesn't justify your actions. Writers experience mental blocks all the time, yet you don't see them trying to break into a prison over it.
She does have a point. Please, Burden, jailer, have a little mercy, will you? Hold on. I've been meaning to ask. Why are you only calling her jailer? Don't you know her name? Or do you just prefer addressing people by their occupation? Oh, about that.
Unexpectedly, it is the Jaguar herself that speaks up.
It's okay, Miss Verton. I don't mind being called by my job title. I take pride in what I do. I'm perfectly fine with just being the jailer.
Exactly. A researcher is a researcher, and a jailer is a jailer. Titles and code names often tell us more about people than their ordinary given names, don't you think? Take Sonetto, for example. Your name comes from sonnets, doesn't it? That great poetic form from Italy. Some people mistakenly think Shakespeare invented it. Some say it was Petrarca, though no one really knows when the first sonnet was written. Sorry, I'm straying from my point. You're Italian, aren't you, Sonetto? Is that your real name, or just a code name? Were your parents poets?
As much as I'd like to be able to answer your question, I never knew my parents. My earliest memories were of the School of Primary Defense of Mankind. I've lived there since I was a small child.
My apologies. That was thoughtless of me.
It's fine. You meant no ill intent, I'm sure. Timekeeper, if Miss Recoleta was right about Dr. Doris's whereabouts, perhaps the jailer is keeping things from us. Or perhaps Dr. Doris visited the Panopticon without her knowledge. Either way, we need to do some digging here.
I agree. Let's see if we can talk to some of the inmates and find out what they know.
As they chat, the corridors, until now endless, reach a terminal point, with voices echoing ahead.
We're about to enter the main hall of the Panopticon. This is one of the places where the inmates spend their recreation time. At this hour, they are supposed to be in their cells. But what's all that noise?
The jailer seems to be tense with the apparently unusual amount of noise.
Miss Verton, could you keep an eye on Recoleta if anything happens?
Recoleta tries her best to avoid the hard stare of the feline jailer by blending into the Foundation team.
Certainly. What do you take me for? I'm not going to run away. That'd be a pretty cheesy way to start a story.
Please, just stay close to me.
Also, why the hell are they in the back rooms? What is that? The Weaving of Shadows, Volume 1. Darkness has no form. The ever-shifting gaze seeps into every crevice. Oh my god, okay, at least it's not a puzzle. If it was a puzzle, I was about to kill myself. Oh, looks like we've got a new arrival. It's pitch black in here. Can't be sure she's new just yet. Hey there! Welcome to La Sociedad de Poetas de las Américas. Or maybe she's one of those who broke out and came back of her own accord. Keeping quiet, huh? I get it. This must be a sacred moment for you. A return to the darkness. What?
La Sociedad de Poetas de las Américas?
The textures she felt on her way here do not match the words she just heard. Guided by her keen hearing, she pauses mid-step in what seems to be a reasonably open space. The room falls into silence, like the longest minute Oh my god, I forgot words. Minute in human history. Are you still there? A faint cough, a heave of a sigh in the darkness. Pardon me, but have we met before? This is my first time in this prison, as far as I can recall. What a strange thing to say. Prison. When was the last time we heard someone say that? Back when the narrator was published? Wait, you aren't some ancient ghost here in pursuit of realism, are you? There's a theatrical flair in her voice. Rusty gates, pitch black cells, prison. Bars for exchanging letters, a peaceful and secluded place, Sociedad de Poetas. And no, we don't know you. The three of them are spaced, just far enough apart to barely make out each other's faces in the dark. What a wonderful example, Garcia. Exactly. It all depends on how you choose to see the world, my new friend. Roberta, we don't have much time. This might be the most important gathering of the month. No, maybe even of the year. You're right, Garcia. At this moment, nothing is more important than the salon the idealist has so carefully prepared. You should focus on sorting out those manuscripts first.
Pardon the interruption, but might I ask
why your organization is called La Sociedad de Poetas de las Américas? I assume it isn't simply due to geography. Don't worry, senora. We make it a point to introduce our sociedad to every new friend, but now isn't quite the time. After the salon ends, we'll ask the jailer about your accommodations. Wait a minute. Roberta, your eyes are well adjusted to the dark. Use them. She's neither a newcomer nor a returnee. She's a blind woman. Ah, please forgive Garcia's rudeness, senora. A sensory limitation can sometimes bring sharper intuition. In that colorful world of the mind, I'm sure what you see is even more beautiful than reality. But if you weren't brought in by the physician, then why are you here? She tries to construct a fiction in her mind, something that could justify the surreal nature of her arrival. From the humid trade winds of São Paulo to the crashing surf from the cliffs. Now, the strange land greets me for the first time with nothing but cold silence. Oh my god! Michaela! Oh my god. Miss Erd is to be... Also, what the fuck is she doing with Miss Grace? Looks around. Miss Erd is to be placed in Ushuaia's Kamala prison. She is not to be treated as an ordinary inmate. In the words of the preacher, you are our honored guest, Miss Erd.
I've come to learn the name of this land. Ushuaia.
From that young lady's retelling, it lies at the southernmost tip of the vast continent of South America.
As we walked, I could feel her gaze upon me. Steady, yet never intrusive.
I could tell she meant me no harm. I've informed the administrator of Kamala Prison of your identity and special circumstances. He will ensure your safety. Good luck and farewell.
I sensed I had been brought to a place most unusual. A building with a quiet peculiarity in the air.
Two attendants follow close behind me, some form of liquid dripping from their faces.
I suppose I must claim a little freedom for myself in this place.
I thought the darkness was a blessing. It wasn't too difficult to shake them off.
I'm sorry for your undue trouble, my diligent friends.
I'm a writer, and I mostly write under the name Erd. I'm here for a short visit.
Visit, hoping to find some inspiration for my next story.
Girl, what the Sigma? Wait a second. I'm afraid I don't know of this physician you mentioned. See, Garcia? This lady is a writer, a good soul. You almost made us miss out on meeting a kindred spirit. Come, come. I'm sure you'll fall in love with our salon. This has nothing to do with me. It's dark in here. But I suppose you've already grown used to walking in the dark. Sorry, I mean no offense. Oh my. Also, okay, here it is. To the pen pal I never met. Perhaps the pen pal you never see is the one you truly need. Yeah, never meet your heroes. Aleph, my dear pen pal, enclosed is the latest revision of my novel. In your last letter, you suggested the role of a bank clerk, marking Amalfitano with the stamp of the capitalist production model. An excellent idea. In this revision, I have incorporated some of my own thoughts as well. That is everything about my novel that I was impatient to share with you. Perhaps you won't mind me discussing something else. Throughout my creative journey, your encouragement and validation have been my greatest comfort when facing the countless closed doors of publishers. The long, futile efforts feel insignificant in the face of your understanding. Oh, my dear pen pal, I say this sincerely, though I suppose such explanations are unnecessary. Perhaps I do not need to waste more ink describing just how much your letters mean to me. So I ask, with both sincerity and trepidation, may we speak in person about the dead, the desert, fate, the ending that troubles me so much, and the tides of imagination and insight that carries us both? Recoleta. At the poetry gathering in Santa Fe de Bogotá, Bogotá's open-air theater, Colombia. Miss Recoleta, as I have mentioned several times in my letters, and as you may have already surmised, I reside in a prison. This is why I have never met my pen pals in person. Due to its remote location and cold climate, Ushuaia is not a place people readily visit. People would rather sip a hot drink in one of Buenos Aires' century-old cafes than travel such a distance. Finally, I still wish you the best on your creative path. Aleph, at the Comala prison in Ushuaia. Colombia mentioned? Yeah. Colombia mentioned. A Latin American fable. A salute to a literary society born within a prison. No, a tribute to an impossible miracle. Also, oh my god, the panopticon. This gives me like war flashbacks to high school. Oh my god, I don't miss it one bit.
I didn't expect any of this from what we saw outside.
The mottled yet pristine walls, the still waters, the silent white tower standing within the labyrinth. Nearby, several prisoners form a circle, some standing, some sitting, engaged in conversation.
Oh, excuse me for a moment. I have duties that I must attend.
With a sigh, the jailer steps into the gathering, causing a strangely subdued reaction from the prisoners.
They don't seem intimidated by her at all.
Yeah. They just look like a bunch of artists having a chat in the garden. And the jailer seems to be like a grumpy neighbor coming over to ask them to keep it down.
The grumpy neighbor continues her chastising.
Everyone, you know the rules. There are to be no after-hours gatherings here without the physician's approval.
You sound softer and softer each time you come to warn us. Why not just join us? Isn't it better than circling around the Panopticon all day? And look around you. We're in the Hall of New Encounters. What better place to host a salon?
Also, do you guys see this? Okay, girl.
You're missing out in Comala if you don't even get a taste of our literature.
Exactly. Even those oil-dripping musicians drop by from time to time. Not that they're the kind to care about the beauty of words.
Oil-dripping musicians? Timekeeper, Could they mean...
Oh my god! Yeah. Scared, guys. Before the jailer can say anything else, two of the prisoners simultaneously gesture for her to stay silent, pointing to the center of their gathering.
Quiet now, please. The Adiles Salon is about to start.
These people seem friendly enough. Why don't we see what this is about?
What the hell, sure.
En desiertos, en estrellas, dentro de laberintos.
En aguas, en espejos, dentro de reflejos.
Soñamos sobre la almohada de paja de la muerte.
Aquí estamos, rendiendo homenaje a los fantasmas.
Para rendirlo todo otra vez. Para rendirlo todo otra vez.
My dear friends, we face a difficult truth. The movement of visceral realism still stumbles in the dark. Our poems, our language, our minds are tangled by a stifling vine. A mundane, stale vision shared among all bourgeoisie. We follow this vision blindly, clinging to the comfort brought by logic and conventional wisdom. And by it, we nip every branch of new art in the bud. Poems are perhaps too fragile an outgrowth to develop one's life upon. But here, we may light them like candles at our funerals. Let poetry become the bridge between us and the world.
A lone clap breaks the silence. It comes earlier than all the other cheers from the audience.
As we come back and forth over the boundaries of life and death, the old obstacles begin to take on a new look. With the eyes of poets, we may see behind them. You're a visceral realist. I can't be mistaken. You must be.
The idealist's eyes pierce through the grove of literary enthusiasts, reaching a distant, drifting new world.
A lonely cowboy, finally home. What a wonder. You're in time. The salon has just begun. And La Sociedad de Poetas de las Americas isn't like those salons that care more about who's invited than the art. All are welcome here.
A literary salon in a prison? Though, so far it seems to have more dancing than poems.
Did you understand what that man just said?
Nah, I'm too stupid for this.
No, sorry, timekeeper. I need a moment to think it through.
Don't worry, Samantha. I would guess we're not the only ones who are confused here.
Yeah, because I am as well.
Miss Jailer, is this that peculiarity about Kamala you mentioned earlier?
Enough, idealist. You're still an inmate here, and you are walking a very fine line right now.
Oh, I'm quite aware of where I am and what lines I tread. This is a prison. The safest place for poets in this part of the continent. One cannot be arrested twice, after all.
The men's words draw laughter from the other prisoners as they turn to discuss the speech with excitement.
But please, don't trouble yourself with our little farce. What harm could a few poets possibly do?
All the irregular rhymes and wild contradictions of aesthetics converge into a chaotic counter-current, crashing against the newcomers. Recoleta clenches her fists in shock, certain that the man before her is her mysterious pen paw.
Senor Idealist, might I ask you something?
Hold on, Recoleta. All forms of communication with the inmates must conform to our regulations. We will need to record the conversation and submit it to higher authorities for review.
I have some questions for the gentleman as well. but we're more than willing to follow the rules. I think the person I'm looking for might have attended this literary salon, or at least talked to some of its members. I'd wager she's spoken to that gentleman. That is, if she has been here at all.
I see. Go ahead then. Just watch the time.
As the visitors petition the jailer, Recoleta pushes past the bustling crowd and takes a deep breath.
Are you Aleph?
The noisy atmosphere plunges into silence, just like the still waters nearby. The idealist is evidently taken aback by the name.
Oh, another visitor looking for Olive.
So you know him?
Naturally, but I'm not obliged to speak of him to one who does not, stranger.
The salon host is non-committal, turning toward Recoleta's companions.
And you, young lady in the hat, are you here for Olive as well? What a lively day this is.
No, I'm looking for a blind woman. Her name is Doris.
Ah, yes, I remember. Her writing was impeccable, like an exquisite crocodile skin handbag in a shop window. Elegant, yet condescending.
Do you know where she is now?
I'm not able to keep track of every inmate here, miss. Perhaps you should ask those who have seen everything from above, through the glass, where the scrutinizing eyes of power look down on us.
Us?
The Panopticon! She scans the prison hall. The walls, the great tower, and the pool remain unchanged. Nothing appears amiss. All the prisoners present nod in agreement, prompting a wary sigh from the jailer.
Have you taken your medicine today, idealist?
I'm feeling marvelous. Today I require no help from them.
I've warned you. It's unwise to act against the physician's orders.
Act against him? No one may act against him here. The physician must have misunderstood us. I suspect he doesn't understand half of what we say. I'd like to know how he got his medical degree. Not by cracking open skulls, I should hope.
The prisoners exchange knowing smiles.
What a pity, jailer. You know, I've always believed you had the soul of a poet, just like us. We've already spoken enough rebellious thoughts outside of Komapa. How else do you think we ended up in your nut house? We've been here far too long. Long after the junta was removed from office. After our home became a deserted wasteland in the aftermath of the Latin American War.
What are you getting?
That power is boring, meaningless. Nothing holds on to power forever. And the one true connection we have to life is poetry.
See, jailer, even an outsider understands our ideas better than you. It's time to...
Oh my god.
The only way for us to
Misclicked.
feel truly alive in here, beneath the gaze of those prying, ever-vigilant eyes.
Okay, he said, even an outsider understands our ideas better than you. It's time to open your eyes to reality.
Idealist, last warning. Stop this now.
Oh my. Get his ass!
All right, compañeros. Sadly, the salon must come to an end, as our jailer insists.
The crowd murmurs and grumbles as they begin to disperse.
Dear friends, I do not mean to abuse the power of suspense. I sincerely invite you to come with me to the heart of La Sociedad de Poetas de las Americas. Perhaps you'll find the person you look for there.
The man strikes a gesture somehow equally comedic and solemn.
We'd love to. Only if that's okay with you, Miss Jailer.
I suppose that's all right. You're already here. We can call it part of your tour, but please, ladies, take none of their ramblings seriously.
Thank you, jailer. Please, follow me.
Yeah, whatever.
Dental checkup.
What the Sigma?
Wait, this isn't the way to the gallery.
It isn't the usual way. It's a shortcut. We call it the Reptilian Complex and Primal Wonderland. Much faster than the limbic system and postmodern anxiety route, let me tell you.
What?
But this passageway has long been abandoned, and entry is prohibited. It's extremely dangerous too.
Relax, Jaina. No one, not even you, knows this prison better than I.
But, Timekeeper, I think we've just gone in a circle.
Please stay.
Me when I don't know a single thing.
My responsibility.
I dedicate this song to you.
Please stay behind me. Awake.
Please join.
Please tell me. Please let me 强梁既出，网友不为。You won't get away. My responsibility. Please stay.
Saxophone stand. Aventura. As you listen up. Do you have any requests?
Awake.
Listen to the melodies of wind and waves.
My responsibility.
Case closed. I'll be sure to write a report and put it on your table.
I'll be honest, I have no idea what happened.
Previous reports too, ma'am.
Oh, another. Yeah,
Let's
check
take a step
this.
back. Pull you out of that whirlwind of passion and dreams. If you want to make the best call, you need to zero in on what really matters. So what's your take on that big speech? A sudden explosion that shook Latin American literary circles about 30 years ago. It was destructive, but also gave rise to new life. And lucky for us, we don't have to worry about shell shock in the literary world. It's not about knowing literature. Any soldier with little experience can deliver a status report. All right, eyes on the map. As we speak, ships are lined up on the Spanish coast. But this time, they're poised to make a new kind of discovery, if you can call it that. And here are our new Columbuses, heading to the docks to embark on their journey. Carmen and Carlos, the driving force behind this literary feast between Spain and Latin America. Carmen, with an eye for opportunity and a mind for business, sought out the continent's literary gems and secured generous publishing deals for them. Carlos, with his deep understanding of market dynamics, brought these works to the eyes of the European public. Then, a golden era began. It all kicked off with a scandal at a military academy. And soon, the entire world was captivated by the story of a baby with a pig's tail from a faraway land. But we mustn't forget the writers themselves. Fuentes, a towering figure of the Spanish-speaking world, and Cortázar, the writer ever seeing through the eyes of a child. And of course, Mario and Gabo, key players in this literary revolution, will forever be etched in the annals of history. They corresponded regularly, always expressing deep admiration for each other's work. In fact, one even wrote a doctoral thesis on the other. Friendship. It was. But no matter how explosive the boom was, it couldn't escape its fleeting nature. With the second imprisonment and self-criticism of a Cuban poet, in came an inexplicable right hook, and bang, silence. The military junta had gripped the poets' throats. The verse of the pioneers was cut off, their voices no longer heard. The bond between two generations was broken, and for the younger of the two, the silence was intolerable. They looked for a new theme, a new idea, a new voice, a new method to speak on their disappointment, their horror, and their anger. And they became the new gorillas.
Got it. Kind of. And since I'm having a drink while we play, I need to go pee. So I'll be back in a bit. Alright, I'm back. And now for Earth's little thing. The Weaving of Shadows, Volume 2. Towering walls, prisoners deep in the abyss paint pictures of the sky. I read in an article once that you Chileans don't like Baroque literature. Something about it being too noisy. You sure are a quiet bunch. Is that so? And you Argentinians just love it, right? If you're any metric to go by, I'd say you're all loud and obnoxious. You, just because the idealist isn't here, you think you can turn this salon into a debate hall? You started it. Enough, stop squabbling and post your work so we can read it. If you ask me, you're simply more interested in rhythm than form. Spanish is a rich language, one that is inherently expressive, ever-changing, and artistic, much like Baroque literature. The typically quiet man's words doused the argument like a cold splash of water, sending the group into a rare moment of calm. Haha, all jokes aside, I do miss them. Ever since those mad members left La Sociedad, we've had far fewer breakthroughs in stream of consciousness writing. Stream of consciousness? Like Clarice Lispector? Oh my god. I, for one, would gladly discuss the aesthetic value of stream of consciousness composition. As this new topic surfaces, the inmates' voices begin to rise once again. It was a most unusual literary salon, full of emotionally charged statements and biased opinions. But I didn't mind it. In fact, my feeling was quite the opposite. The inmates gave me an incredible feeling. Not one of them saw themselves as a prisoner stripped of their freedom. A group of literature enthusiasts coming together in an abandoned prison and collaborating to build an ideal nation. It felt as though it was a result of some kind of pact, but in reality it was clearly a government-run prison. Everyone, quiet down. I have something to announce. An unfamiliar voice cuts off the clacking typewriter in Doris's mind. A woman walks out from the far end of the darkness and steps into the center of the salon, stopping before the whiteboard and podium.
Mr. Idealist entrusted me with hosting the literature salon.
He left a letter under a stone in the corner stating that he had a personal matter to attend to. For the session, I will now announce the next research topic.
Fiction's duality in reflecting reality and the self.
Heavy gasps turned heads. An uproar spreads through the audience. Clearly, this wasn't the topic they were expecting. She raises the letter in her hand in a gesture for silence.
Like-minded fellows, aspiring writers.
Since the turn of the century, names that once shook the literary world have gradually faded into obscurity.
Literature's been shoved aside in the world of art.
People attend theaters, cinemas, and even art galleries to enjoy paintings and sculptures, but few can finish a book.
What is left for us to do?
When families are torn apart and our nations are ravaged by tyranny.
Let stories be our weapon. They should be the sword that cuts through the bloody truth, the beacon that lights our way forward.
The audience falls into silence. You could try writing a Latin American War and Peace, and we could continue with our original salon topic. The two aren't mutually exclusive. I spent the whole month preparing for the topic the idealist previously proposed. If you insist on changing the subject, then I'm afraid I'll have to take my leave. Miss Octavia, forgive me for interrupting, but this isn't the topic we agreed on. Everything you've said, we just can't do that. We haven't even figured out things for ourselves yet. Octavia, it's an interesting topic. It is, but perhaps we can talk about it another time. Besides, don't forget the reason you're in here in the first place, for preaching that novel is a weapon. Yeah, if it weren't for your rich daddy, you'd be in the gallows, not standing here preaching to us.
Hey!
Another prisoner stands, his voice clear. You've completely missed Miss Octavia's point. A great writer should be like an obsessive grave digger, digging up the rotting flesh of social realism from the graves of our times. Only this vast crucible is worthy to be the host of our literature. At that time, Mr. Garcia looked visibly resistant as Mr. Julio issued stern reminders and Miss Roberta attempted to mediate. More and more members joined the debate, and voices both for and against Miss Octavia's proposal emerged. It didn't take long for La Sociedad to split into two camps. That was when I realized I needed to do something to get this derailed literary salon back on the tracks.
I'm a writer, and I mostly write under the name Erd.
Please allow me to introduce myself. I'm Doris from São Paulo. And then she already said the rest.
Erd?
That name sounds familiar.
Have you ridden for Atu?
Are you...
the Erd in Atu?
Wow, I never imagined we'd be welcoming such an honored guest today. I thoroughly enjoyed your piece titled The Tin Soldiers of São Paulo.
It's an important part of my visit to hear all the ideas and opinions, if you'll pardon my intrusion.
Then tell me, Miss Erd, what are your thoughts on today's salon topic? A difficult question, one involving preference, a creative stance, and a political alignment. A scale that is never easily balanced. However, the answer has never been the most important part of such questions.
In these restless times, literature has been overlooked, forgotten, pushed to the edges of the world, much like Ushuaia.
Some fall into deep thought, others nod in agreement, and a few look puzzled. The audience is largely unaware that the topic has already shifted. To most, this prison at the end of the world is a distant, cold place, perhaps even a place of hopelessness. When a prisoner is first sent here, I cannot help but imagine that the first thing they feel is a stagnant pool of water and a calm, quiet despair. She seizes this chance to guide the literary salon back from the muddy trenches of ideology. She recalls the days of typing while looking out over the river, boats, and palm trees. Words are honest. They have no capacity to lie. I came here to gather material for my next book. I plan to record everything I experience in this place, faithfully. And what kind of work are you planning to write? A non-fiction piece, I presume? About Comala Prison? Its theme is fate. Okay. I don't get it, but awesome. There's another one. I can see that there's another one, but I'm not sure where it is, cause well, I'll check it later, cause I really don't know where. Oh my god, I really don't know where it is. So yeah, whatever. Shadows of the living, metallic sheen, rippling water, and shadows that peer back from within dim reflection.
La investigadora se despierta en su cueva en la duna, que le parecía tan vacía como una tumba. Era poco antes del amanecer. Montones de cintas habían ocupado su espacio vital, apilándose una y otra vez. Cada uno de estos carretes giratorios hablaba de historias sobre esa cabaña con techo azul. Oyó la voz del asesinado conductor de burros detrás de ella. Oigo a todos ellos, las risas y las voces de generaciones pasadas, como hojas secas atrapadas en las grietas de viejas paredes, rugiendo solo cuando el viento sopla otra vez. No pondría un pie en esa casa si fuera tú. El mendigo al lado de la puerta también habló. Duermo en el porche cada noche. Cada mañana una luz tenue brilla a través de la ventana, pero nadie sale nunca por esa puerta, y nadie ha entrado nunca. Luego la voz del empleado del banco. Es la historia del alter ego. Esa casa debe haber estado llena de deudas que nadie reclamaría. La anciana enferma, luchando en su cama, susurró. La casa recuerda esos días, cuando la gente desaparecía en la oscuridad de la noche y los niños eran robados por las tormentas. La investigadora de paracausalidad había oído suficiente y volvió a dormirse. Solo quedaba el traqueteo del dado de Babilonia resonando en su cueva vacía.
In a deteriorating activity hall, thousands of floating slips of paper form a blurred, colossal face. It is hard to imagine how the prisoners managed to transform this place into what it is now.
I've always wanted to use the element of fantasy to better establish our theme. And I was right. Now the stage is captivating, the timing is perfect, and the audience is ideally placed. Only one imperfect element remains in the scene. The creator, who hasn't stepped away from his creation. No. There's another thing.
Garcia, the curator of the exhibition, stands beneath his work, deep in thought, agonizing over every minute imperfection. His fellow poets whisper to one another.
Can you even tell any difference between today's setup and yesterday's?
Seriously, Roberta? That's a rude question.
What? What's he doing here?
Well, what's the difference then?
Well, I can't see one either. But you should never judge art by how much it changes in a day. It's a creative process. We might be standing at the edge of the world, but art has no boundaries. We have to show him our support.
Easy for you to say. He's been tinkering and tweaking for over 3 months. Even if the idealist himself entrusted him with this exhibition, he can steal the run sometimes. This gallery is turning into a dump.
Estoy viendo fantasmas, todos con las mismas caras, Garcia. Demasiados. Es fácil perderse en ellos.
Having navigated through the labyrinth, the idealist, the leader of La Sociedad, arrives at the exhibit's entrance, oh my god, I can't speak today, accompanied by several new faces and the jailer.
Idealist, you're back. Are these new recruits for La Sociedad? You must have had a very successful day.
It is good to see you, Garcia. How has your vision progressed today?
First a salon, and now an art gallery. Is this really a prison?
Her shock is evident on her face, but her words are ignored as Garcia begins to vent his frustrations.
As you can see, I've strived to push the element of fantasy in my work so that it might reach perfection. But why doesn't it look like what I imagine? It's like I'm trying to work on a shadow. Some shapeless thing that morphs and shifts by the hour. Idealist, am I losing it again? I took my medicine as instructed.
It was never the pills that blinded you, my dear Garcia. You mustn't let tedious routine stifle what's truly alive. Remember, like those old poems, your exhibition must have a timeless rhythm that's never lost to the changing of minds.
Garcia holds out his hands as if grasping something fleeting, but fails to hold on to it.
Sorry, maybe I'm just not getting it.
Loca, there's your answer. Though the sun rises the same way every day, the multitudes of shadows it casts are ever changing. Isn't that the only constant in life? Change. We foolishly pursue stability and constancy, but our very world denies it. Take a step back. Take several, and see the truth for yourself, lest you too become lost among the shifting shadows.
I get it now. It's the changing light that makes the exhibit seem different from what I expected. I shouldn't waste my time on freezing things in one perfect moment. Instead, I need to embrace change as it comes. I don't know how to thank you. I won't let you down. I must complete this exhibition. Complete my alter ego.
The choice of word widens the writer's eyes.
Did you say alter ego? And he called you Garcia. Is that your name? Garcia, where did you learn about this alter ego? Do you happen to write under the name
But the curator has already returned to his work, uninterested or oblivious to his visitors.
Please, Recoleta, give our artist some space. Can't you see? He's already returned to his own time and space. He can't hear a thing you say.
Boy, whatever.
He's right. Garcia is deep in his own head now. He won't hear a thing until he's done with whatever he has to do. Even if the floor were to collapse out under us, I think he will be left standing in the air without even noticing. Pardon me then.
She takes a step back out of respect.
All right, my dear guests. Please forgive my late introduction. Welcome to the Gallery of Bewilderment.
Thank you for inviting me here, Mr. Idealist.
The Foundation's investigators have been carefully observing each prisoner's movements since they arrived, but unfortunately, there's no sign of Miss Doris.
I imagine you're curious about what we do here, in the heart of La Sociedad de Poetas de las Americas. We're putting together a magazine, a collection of poems from Kamala, our very own Casa de las Americas.
Casa de las Americas?
The Idealist nods with a smile.
Exactly. Named after its great predecessor. You're a fine mind indeed. At this very moment, all our compañeros are working on it.
Guys, can I be real for a moment? This is making me feel like I felt back when 1.4 released. I'm feeling very stupid. I don't really get all of this, but I'm listening and I'm paying attention. Even though I'm not commenting much. Aside from, like, girl, whatever. But I don't know. I have something against Aleph, okay? I don't get it, but boy, whatever.
Garcia's exhibition, Alter Ego, is centered around the birth of this magazine. And here, you can see the signatures from all the poets involved, along with a few words they've written for it. Reading it is like looking into the soul of our society.
All these signatures.
Soneto steps forward to examine the perplexing artwork. In the dim lighting, the enormous face appears to be looming watchfully over the entire room. A floating slip of paper catches her attention.
Timekeeper, here! It's Dr. Doris' pseudonym, Erd.
Then she was here.
Soneto pockets the slip of paper dutifully.
Precisely. She used to be one of us, and still is, if I may correct myself. You can ask around here. Maybe some of our members know where she went.
Huh.
Don't we all miss the familiar faces of old friends? I'm sure they'll do everything they can to help you find yours.
As he finishes speaking, several enthusiastic prisoners come forward to greet the Idealist.
Mr. Idealist, I finished my short story. It's called Weightlessness. It drifts around the subject like a ship floating in space. The readers can start anywhere in the story, or read it in any order they like.
And please take a look at my piece off limits. Every word that has been forbidden is either erased or replaced with symbols. It's a one-of-a-kind jarring experience.
And I finished a new paragraph. Just wrote it today.
A prisoner, wrapped in several meters of manuscript paper, like a strange sort of mummy, squeezes into the crowd.
Oh, new faces. Welcome.
Without any warning, he calmly tears the manuscript to shreds. The fluttering fragments fall like trailing sparks from a fireworks show. The abrupt welcome ceremony leaves the newcomers stunned, while the natives share knowing smiles.
Idealist, did he just...
This is the writer for the prologue of our magazine.
The leader of La Sociedad, either misunderstanding or evading the question, responds with enthusiasm.
The prologue consists of a 2,000-line poem and an introduction that is written in 86 languages to avoid misinterpretation. It represents every second we spend here.
Oh my god. 86? This must be like a translation nightmare. Oh my god, I don't even want to start thinking about it.
Naturally, the arrival of new members disrupts its structure, and so we must begin again from scratch.
So he just tore it all up like that because he thought we were joining?
What the Sigma?
With all due respect, isn't this a little excessive? Heaven knows I'm not one to judge. I've torn up plenty of writing for my novel.
Please, pay it no mind. It may not be an easy task, but he's doing his part. Destruction is hard, but more necessary than you think. Without it, we'd all be stuck in a still and stagnant pond, with all the smells that entails.
This all sounds very complicated. When will your magazine be finished then? Forgive me, but I'm not sure what a floating sheet, a jarring reading experience, and all this constant rewriting are meant to express.
Yeah. The jailer, having remained silent, takes a deep breath and interrupts.
As I've said, Komala isn't like any other prison.
Miss Jailer, do you mean...
This place also serves as a research center. And the prisoners here, for all they claim, are not just...
Oh my god. Misclicked again, are not just poets.
Has been diagnosed as mentally ill.
The leader of La Sociedad remains composed, like an island in a rough sea, leaving the onlookers to question whether he is entirely mad or the sanest of them all.
You're quite right, jailer. But let's not forget that mental illness is merely a deviation from the norm. Then who decides the norm? You, the physician, or the ones outside these walls? We have been exiled here by the standards of our time, deprived of our roles in the outside world. So please, as we agreed before, I ask you not to interfere with the affairs of La Sociedad.
These people are visitors, not your new recruits.
But should we not hear their thoughts first?
The idealist turns toward the visitors with an urgent plea.
My friends, no one escapes the eye of power. We must resist. Stand with us. Pick up your pen and take poetry as your shield before it is too late.
What is bro waffling about?
Idealist, I admire your fight, but I came here with a different goal.
The leader of La Sociedad, caught in his fervor, ignores her words and carries on.
We're the last true owners of an old legend, words now only remembered as myth. We must stay on the path of literature until I find that transcendental solution. To invent an idiom that is generic, all-encompassing, yet precise. My poem will be written in this language, leaving no room for doubt or misinterpretation.
Yeah, I don't even know what to say about that because this guy's getting kind of crazy. Saying this like as a translation major, like, okay, you can try, girl. I'm not gonna stop you.
How blessed is a man with infallible memory. He holds the finer details of each object within him, more vivid than anyone else. In the end, he'll have all the answers, if time allows him.
A dreamlike expression crosses his face. It briefly seems as if he has become an entirely different person, but his vision is soon interrupted.
Sweet tongue, sister, house, hermaphrodite, tango.
Bro's just typing shit.
They put the whole city in the nut house.
Timekeeper, look over there.
Isn't that the prologue writer?
There's something off about him. Please, Timekeeper, stay away from him.
What's happening?
Idealist, Pablo's having another episode.
Multiples of us. You make reality sick.
A flash of arcane energy flares up, and the jailer steps into the crowd reactively.
I could use your help, ladies.
What the schema? Yay, Recoleta!
Can I start running?
La acumulación de laberintos. Suéltalo todo una vez más.
What the hell? Sure.
Another jar?
Our victory comes in the
I
tide
have
of
to
blood.
do this. Cosmología,
Let's get it
filosofía
on the way.
clásica, el fundamento del mundo.
Agreed.
You, another jar?
Nuestro aliado es la verdad.
A little surprise.
There they are. Enjoy!
I hope. Agreed. Moving. Close your eyes. It will all be over soon.
I'll fill the cup for you.
Battles have little meaning, save for the prizes to be won.
The frenzied prisoner is subdued. He lies convulsing in the center of the exhibit hall.
Poor soul. I'll bring him to bed. Well done, ladies. Aren't you full of surprises?
What was all that?
It seems he had a mental breakdown and lost control of his arcane skill. It appears that every line he recited carried unbridled power.
Usually, only specific lines can channel arcane energy. You can't just force the power into words or craft a poem to serve your purpose. Pablo must have a rare gift for identifying empowered lines. When he recited them all aloud, they overwhelmed him.
That's right. He's a genius who writes the ties of emotion, just like Arthur Rimbaud. We always keep a close eye on him to make sure he doesn't recite anything while reading or writing.
Roberta trades glances between the tense jailer and her visitors.
But sometimes things slip through.
You must understand how difficult it is for a poet to never taste the words on his own lips.
So then, this isn't the first time, and you're all fully aware of it. Do I understand you right? Did you just admit that you've been hiding an inmate with a dangerous condition from us? According to the safety regulations for the Panopticon of Kamala, he must be sent to the physician for immediate treatment.
The jailer's command causes a dramatic shift in the room.
No, wait. We can explain. He's doing fine. We know how to help. This was just an accident. We got distracted by the new members.
We won't be handing him over to the physician. No true writer would allow their mind, the most sacred palace of their thoughts, to be opened up to that cold-hearted, ignorant butcher. Even one who believes their inspiration flows from a source beyond the mere substance of a brain would refuse it.
The jailer furrows her brows and pulls out her weapon. There tightens into an invisible thread. Oh my. Are we going to be lobotomy maxing anytime soon? Or what? Yay, more Erd. Rose feels the air, and an exiled bird has found a branch to rest upon.
Fate. Yes. It looms over us, yet each of us may hold the power to steer its course.
Just like this nation of contradictions, its fate should also be. In that case, shall we officially begin the salon? The ever-observant Roberta, noticing the tears welling in Octavia's eyes, cuts her off. Would anyone like to share a story on this topic? Whether it's a personal experience or a written tale, let's bring some life to the salon. Well, if no one has anything to say, I could always retell the story of my fateful journey across the Mexican border. Screech. A chair screeches as one man stands, all eyes fall on his face, shadowed by his heavy brow and sharp cheekbones. An unexpected twist. No one noticed him quietly sitting at the edge of the crowd until now. I spent the first half of my life as a bank clerk. One day, sitting behind that glass window, staring at the endless stacks of checks, papers, and flyers, it hit me. I was serving a life sentence. So I quit, went home, and decided to write something. My wife threw a fit at first, but when I wouldn't budge, a cold war broke out between us, and then finally she issued a unilateral eviction notice. I got drunk, punched a bastard officer who was beating a beggar in the street, and everything after that's a blur. When I came to, I was already here, a place that feels more like home than any other place ever did. The idealist gave me some water and suggested I write to Aleph. So I did. I wrote a letter and asked a question. 2 weeks later, I got a reply, just one line. I'm still trying to figure out what it means. In the short span of life, there exists an infinitely extending staircase, and at its end lies nothing but a silent body of water. Julio, I had no idea you had such a story. Why haven't you mentioned it before?
I didn't know you've written to Aleph too.
Octavia, maybe you did choose the right topic. Young, passionate writers like you should carry the dream of changing society. Don't end up like me, waiting until this age to finally pick up the pen. Oh? The hostess, fully engrossed in the story, has almost forgotten all about the topic. Great, I suppose it's my turn then. So here's my tale of crossing the Mexican border. For heaven's sake, spare us. I've heard at least 7 or 8 versions of that story already, not to mention the 5 short stories in your collection. 5 stories, Roberta. 5! And the only difference between them is the narrative's perspective. Repetitive narrative is indeed an important topic in literary criticism. The remainder of the salon is spent on noisy chatter as the storytelling quickly spirals out of control. Only Dr. Dores quietly repeats that name to herself.
Aleph.
Mr. Julio's past was an unexpected gold nugget, the perfect material for a biography. I'll treat it with care in my next submission. By then, I had nearly forgotten I was still in prison. I had been swept up in the literary salon. I resolved to record all that I witnessed in this prison. As to whether the inhabitants are truly prisoners, that will be for the readers to decide. At the time, I did not ask how they found their way into this prison. Like them, I was thinking of purer things. Looking back on this journey, I now see that the tangled strands of Las Babas del Diablo had formed an interconnected web. Just as the salon gets into full swing, a face emerges from the shadows, only the smile clearly visible. Rarely do I observe the salon from afar, taking in all its symbolic quirks and subtle metaphors. The bridge between reality and unreality, the poetry of the typical and the atypical. This is exactly how I envisioned La Sociedad de Poetas de las Américas when I founded it. The new arrival catches her attention. Reality and unreality. Are you referring to the difference between non-fiction and fiction? I'm afraid I haven't quite grasped your full meaning. But you understood at least part of it, didn't you? that alone proves we're walking the same path, the unwavering pursuit of aesthetic truth. We are citizens of the literary kingdom, stargazers chasing the first light to reach the shores of the new world, children crying beneath the tree of pure ideals. As its founder, I sincerely invite you to join La Sociedad de Poetas de las Américas and become one of us. Join La Sociedad de Poetas de las Américas? A gentlemanly bow, an invitation that is hard to refuse. Everything here carries an air of mystery. The literary gathering, the strange architecture, the enigmatic recipient of all those letters. A rare opportunity.
I'm truly flattered by your invitation. I'd be delighted to join the Poetry Society. But might I trouble you with one question, Mr. Idealist?
You call yourself the founder, so I assume you're the idealist, yes? Ask away. Could you tell me about Aleph? Where the fuck is Aleph? Not that I want him to show up, because oh my god, I have unending beef with that character. Typewriter record P5. A woman's documentation of a blind society. Even though they refuse to discuss the outside world, spending even a few days inside the prison makes clear that the reason they are here is precisely what they avoid speaking about. Ushuaia is a cold town on the tip of Argentina's southernmost territory. The polar night, the frozen sea, the proximity to Antarctica, the endless winter. It all makes the place seem buried in time and forgotten. It possesses all the necessary qualities of a prison, making it an ideal place to send arcanists, suspects diagnosed with mental illness, a place to be forgotten. Oh my god, setting aside the true definition of madness and their status as prisoners, what I see in this prison are former poets, writers, and social activists. In their era, some spoke of poetry, then disappeared from society for owning a book by Jean-Paul Sartre. Oh my god, wait a second, I need to have a drink. Some incited grassroots rebellion against hierarchical structures, only to be exiled. They were repeatedly questioned, why do you read these books? Why do you write these poems? They were branded thought organizers and eventually sent here to partake in an experiment conducted under the names of Foucault and psychoanalysis. It is nearly impossible to determine whether their madness was defined by society because they resisted order, or if it was induced through relentless electric shocks and torture. Or perhaps all of these reasons are one and the same. This reason is often avoided, sanitized, or ignored, because deep down, we all know how deeply it is woven into the fabric of all our lives. At first, they say nothing, but this very act of deliberate avoidance was what truly conveyed their grief and fear. Got it. Passion and delirium. Open your eyes to see the night. Close them to see the light. Got it.
This is a serious violation of the rules. I'll have to report this to the physician, and all of your treatments will need to be reassessed. Until a new treatment plan is in place, all members of La Sociedad are confined to their cells without any of their usual privileges.
The jailer heavily emphasizes La Sociedad, triggering a commotion among the prisoners.
This is not what we agreed to.
You gave us your word! Affairs within La Sociedad were not to be disturbed!
Please, don't do this. Please, he doesn't deserve this. No one does. We don't want to lose our friend.
The previously convulsing prisoner struggles to his feet.
Please, Senora. I swear it won't happen again. I'll take the medicine on time as instructed. I promise I won't hurt anyone.
I'm sorry, Mr. Pablo, but rules are rules.
Before you take this poor man from his friends, may I ask you something? Do you know where these inmates go after they see the physician?
My duty is to keep order here. What happens beyond these walls is not my concern. Perhaps they've recovered from the physician's treatment and will return to society.
The jailer's expression relaxes.
Within these walls, the only truth we know is this. No one returns from the clinic of the physician of God. Are you certain this treatment they receive is really a cure?
Pablo is harmless. He's just a writer who has a talent for finding words and poems. That's all. Please, let him stay. We'll look after him. He can have our share of the medicine. We'll keep him in check.
But this doesn't conform to our regulations.
Still as arrogant as ever, idealist. One day, you'll get us all killed.
A stranger enters the exhibition hall. As she arrives, the jailer exhales with relief.
Oh, it's you. I'm glad to see you here.
Who is that?
That's Octavia, one of our model inmates. She's been a great help in the past. If you're interested in prison literature, I'd suggest talking to her instead of the idealist.
You tell him, jailer.
So, she's a writer too? Who would have thought? This place has got writers coming out of the woodwork. I thought it would be easy to find my writer friend in a prison. But what are the odds that I'd break into a place absolutely lousy with them?
She used to be in their gatherings, until she got tired of their nonsense and started her own faction.
The new arrival brings out a change in the idealist. He clicks his tongue imperceptibly.
What are you doing here, Octavia? Haven't you heard? The era of chieftains, ghosts, and plantation stories is over. Visceral realism is the future.
And has this brilliant visceral realism helped you finish any of these poems? What a waste of time. I'm not interested in your movement or arguing with you. I just walked by and happened to witness another episode of your brutal arrogance. And I'm not about to just stand aside and watch you repeat your mistakes. I'm taking Pablo to the physician. Care to lend a hand, Miss Jailer?
We agreed to mind our own business. Are you breaking our agreement? No. No one will be allowed to erase a word from our poems.
What is bro waffling about? Huh? Why am I fighting her? No.
Haven't you let your ego cause enough trouble, idealist?
Better that than siding with the devil like you.
Enough. This pointless arguing ends now. Please stay behind me. A week. My responsibility. This is a breach of free pasture. Do you have any requests? Thank you for your cooperation. I dedicate this song to you. Saxophone send. A bandura? As you wish.
Youch.
They are much naughtier than the Foundation's kids.
Stand down, both of you.
Their heated debate continues without any concern for the jailer's warning.
You've never listened. I pity your followers. To be led by such a reckless megalomaniac. Do you even think about the consequences of your actions? We fought hard to earn the freedom to discuss literature under their watch. Your impulsive ego threatens to destroy everything we've built here.
Spare me the lecture, Octavia. We don't need permission to do as we please. You're just another puppet of power, kneeling to the eyes behind those glass walls. They've trained you to believe it was your own decision, to be good and conform. Who could have done a better job? When I look at you, all I see is a sheep, docile and obedient, just the way the tower wants. What kind of work could someone like you create? Literature isn't defended by those lounging in cozy rooms, scribbling to soothing music.
Nah, he lost the argument from the moment he called her sheep. That's such a... Oh my god. Bro is chopped.
Have you looked in the mirror, idealist? You've become a pathetic windmill-tilting fool. A monster tearing down everything around you.
A beast of prey. Naturally, a sheep would be appalled by the mere thought of such a creature. A fearful sheep caught in a vine, confusing the blade that would set it free with the jaws of a lion.
Oh my.
Such a master of metaphor. But I beg you, learn to distinguish right from wrong, fantasy from reality. Only then can you truly lead our people toward what's right.
Distinguish right from wrong. Don't make me laugh. Is that the limit of your vision?
You...
Oh my, I forgot to read. The impassioned... Shut up!
Listen to me.
Oh.
There is no truer home to literature than a prison.
Oh my god. A blast of deafening sound and all words fall from the air. Okay, let's back read. The impassioned leader jumps onto a nearby bench, striking a dramatic pose before the crowd. And oh my god, finally, he shut up! The idealist's expression freezes. His eyes search down from a frozen face to a... Oh. An ominous shade of crimson seeps out.
No. No!
The horrified arcanist stumbles back, screaming.
Who did this? Hands behind your head and drop to your knees. All of you, now! This is your last warning.
The prisoners show no reaction to the jailer's final ultimatum. They stare at the idealist, unmoving.
Idealist, you're bleeding. It's in your chest.
As his life drains away, the idealist appears unsurprised. He simply turns his gaze toward Recoleta.
You must.
Yes. Idealist?
Unfinished words dissolve into silence as the prison itself begins to tremble. The entire exhibition hall twists and contorts, its surroundings warping beyond comprehension as if dissolving and expanding freely.
What's going on?
What the skibma? The hall is still. Time seems frozen in place until someone utters the first words.
Was he shot? Where did the bullet come from? Miss Jailer and you ladies over there, come give me a hand. We need to get him to the physician.
Her words ignite the first spark.
Did you do this, Octavia? You couldn't face the burning truth of his words, so you pierced his very heart instead. Justice was blazing with the fire of justice. Or was it you, Jailer? Did you intend to crush the voice of poetry beneath your wheel of power? It has to be one of you devils in disguise, beasts in human skin.
Can't you see? I I had nothing to do with this. I'm as innocent as any of you. I've been trying to keep order here, to protect everyone. And now you blame me?
Yeah, hop
Listen
off.
to her. The ideal is made it very clear. She's trying to get us punished for her own gain.
Hop off! Hop off, my goat.
You're a murderer, Octavia!
The prisoner's fury erupts. In the chaos, Sonetto blocks an arcane skill that pierces the air.
This is mad. You're accusing me without proof. It wasn't me.
This is getting out of hand. I suggest you ladies leave now.
No, wait! It all happened too fast. What happened to the idealist? Is he alright? I didn't even get a chance to ask about Aleph.
As the tide of people surges around them, the line between life and death blurs beyond recognition.
I agree with the jailer. Timekeeper, Miss Recoleta, let's get out of here.
Yeah, let's dip. The violent conflict rages on, and everything else becomes meaningless. The illusion of time dissolves, its flow unknown. Under the garden's influence, the frenzy of prisoners begins to resemble an unreadable, chaotic epic. At this moment, an unidentifiable figure enters their midst, though no one takes notice. The newcomer scrutinizes the motionless corpse.
His vitals are gone. At last, some peace and quiet. Well, for a liar and a thief like him, there's hardly a better end than this.
He reaches into the idealist's coat pocket and pulls out a die. It is an artifact marked by patterns veiled in smoke, an object seemingly not meant to exist in this world, a 20-sided die known only through an omniscient perspective. And now it is stained in an utterly corrupted blackness.
Just as I thought. You had it all along.
Huh. Yay, more Erd. Fate is like a mirror. Its strongest reflections are shaped by time. And oh my god, so much narration that I have to do today. Up to this point, I have anticipated firsthand in several sessions of La Sociedad de Poetas de las Américas. Those literary experiments treated language as an advanced game, weaving reality and fiction into an invisible web, ensnaring everyone present in a maze of words. Never before had I been so intimate with literature or thought about it so deeply. I was amazed by how words could so vividly express both playfulness and values. Until that ordinary afternoon, when a poet named Eduardo was reciting his new piece with refined rhythm, and Miss Octavia was discussing the state of São Paulo with me. No one noticed anything unusual about Mr. Julio's condition. Just like you wrote in the Tin Soldiers of São Paulo, the greatness of Latin America lies in its richness, and from that richness comes misfortune, gnawed by insatiable greed. One man's poverty is another's feast. Suffering nourishes joy. They are like riverbanks, clearly divided. This duality, this paradox, isn't it precisely the kind of question we should be posing through literature? The thud of bone against a hard surface erupts her. Julio is banging his head against the wall. Not enough, not enough! Not like this. You can't grasp space and time. I'm still missing some essential language frameworks and thought patterns. With our current language system, I cannot catch the ghost of time. I can only let it slip away from the tip of my pen. Mr. Julio, what's wrong with you? Unlike the panicked Octavia, the other inmates around Julio seem unfazed. That wall is unscalable. Julio, I told you already. I can lend you some of my bandages from last week if you need them. For a permanently silent object, any form of narration is futile. In the end, you're just wrestling with your own shadow.
What are you all standing around for? Can't you see Julio is hurting himself?
Octavia is clearly flustered. There is no she must first eliminate any outside interference that might obstruct her ability to help. Miss Octavia, please calm down. Tell me, what do you see?
It's Mr. Julio. He's hurt. Bleeding.
He tried to break through the mirror of language with his head, but it was actually a wall. By now, Doris has learned how to filter out the surreal embellishments typical of La Sociedad members in order to correctly assess the situation. Mirror or wall, it doesn't matter. Please take a closer look and describe what you see, clearly and without embellishment. What is Mr. Julio's condition? His muscles are spasming uncontrollably, as if jolted by a cold electric current. His face is tightening, twisting, like he's struggling against a silent force. His fingers are curling into unnatural shapes. His expression keeps changing, first pain, then panic, and finally, blankness.
Sounds like he's having an epileptic seizure. Perhaps I could offer some help.
Guided by the sound of Julio's whimpers, Doris approaches. His head is bloodied.
Please, Miss Octavia, help me so I can help him.
Could you lay him down flat on his side? We have to stop him from hurting himself. I can use my arcane skill. Flashing lights could worsen an epileptic seizure. Does your arcane skill emit intense light? If so, I must ask you to refrain from using it. Octavia hurriedly retracts her incantation. She presses down on Julio's shoulder and lowers him onto the cold, hard floor. The doctor kneels quickly and gently turns the man onto his side, preventing him from injuring himself any further. As time passed, Mr. Julio's convulsions began to subside, but his body remained stiff, his jaw clenched tight. I took a disposable bite pad from the first aid kit and carefully placed it in his mouth to keep him from biting himself. Eventually, the situation came under control, and Mr. Julio's breathing stabilized. And there everyone went, straight back to get the gathering as if it were only a minor inconvenience. Oh, the skipma. Thank you for your help, Miss Erd. The doctor responds with a silent smile.
You seem experienced. Was it a major part of your responsibilities in São Paulo?
Yes, saving others is my profession. Writing is my hobby. In my home, I am first and foremost a doctor. Miss Erd, you have my utmost admiration as a doctor, as a writer, and even more as a person beyond any social categorization. You, a doctor who actually lived in the favelas, pointed the barrel at yourself before wielding your words as a weapon. Compared to you, I've achieved nothing of substance. All I do is wave ideals around, as if that's enough. Miss Octavia, I'm simply a writer who follows her curiosity. I'm afraid I'm not qualified to provide you with any concrete advice, nor am I as great as you say.
You're well prepared for your vision and ambition, for modesty is such an essential part of writing, and you've just demonstrated a skillful use of introspection.
Thank you for your kind words.
But I'd like to return to my room and think for a while. See you tomorrow. Octavia is so kind. Shaking head emoji. The idealist pursues his ideals to erect a magnificent vision atop the tower of literature. But for those outside the tower, what good is that magnificence? Here I am, locked away in a prison, my words going no further than these walls. I even only have my life because of my wretched father.
It was foolish to think that ideas alone could ease people's pain.
Maybe we're no different from the heretics who were burned at the stake in the Middle Ages. Perhaps only professionals like Miss Erd, doctors with real expertise, can truly save a person. Wait, but this prison does have a doctor meant to handle every kind of issue, whose specialty is precisely in the mental field. But he's not just a doctor, he's the overseer of this prison. I once asked the idealist why the person in charge here wasn't a regular jailer or a police chief, but a physician. As expected, he brushed me off with some grandiose, idealistic rhetoric. But why has the idealist always seemed so opposed to the physician?
Why?
Why can patients like Mr. Julio, who are clearly suffering, be sent to him?
Puzzles on top of puzzles. Questions after questions. My head.
Her sigh echoes through the circular building, and it is soon answered by a chorus of other sighs.
I can't do this anymore.
Miss Octavia turned and walked away. Though she looked disheartened, I could still see the power of the unwavering force that drove her forward. What would that force be for me? Looking back, I too began to reflect on myself, to contemplate fate, that grand and irreversible force. Huh. Got it. Kind of. The spider's web. Open it, reread it. Witness firsthand the events that transpired within the desert.
Ladies, I must apologize for what happened back there. We were caught off guard. There has never been a commotion of that scale before. I must report this to the physician.
Don't worry, Miss Jaina. We made it out in one piece.
Thank you for your understanding. Ordinarily, I would arrange to escort you to a safer location, but I'm afraid at this hour you'll have missed the last train. And the roads are icy at night.
Hearing this, Recoleta exchanges a quick but meaningful expression with her companions.
Vernon, we can't leave like this. We appreciate your kind consideration, Miss Jaina, but we still have some unfinished business here.
I see. I'll arrange a clean room in a safer section for you. We'll do our best to ensure your safety tonight.
Night falls as the girls huddle together, scrutinizing their unfamiliar surroundings.
They actually found us a spare room.
Bleak, quiet, and somber. It's a cell like all the others. Don't worry. This isn't the first time we've ended up on the wrong side of the bars.
At least this time we're just here for the night, not a full sentence.
Snettle lets out a whisper of thin protest.
Though this cell is quite different from the ones we've been in before. Not just the cell. The whole prison is unlike anything I've seen. And this society they've been running here isn't some mere pastime. They're having real discussions about meaningful topics, even though the rest of the world has been cut off from them.
But we're still in an Arcanist prison. A place where conflicts and violence can erupt at any moment. Let's not forget that. Miss Jailer warned us from the start. These prisoners are mentally unstable and potentially dangerous. Miss Recoleta, with all due respect, we can't afford to see this place through rose-colored glasses. We'd be overlooking the risks, as we did earlier.
And with all due respect, Soneto, we didn't overlook any danger. At least I didn't. A writer must be observant if she is to accurately reflect the world in her writing.
But you...
We came here with different goals. And still, none of them have been accomplished. I suggest we focus on our respective missions, instead of fighting with one another.
Apologies, Timekeeper. Miss Recoleta, I take back everything I said.
Don't apologize, Soneto. I'm at fault too. Sometimes I forget that words can be as sharp as swords. You were only thinking about our safety. I shouldn't have been so rude. I actually really admire how you fought back there. If you'd allow me, I'd like to write a poem for you, once my novel's finished.
Oh my.
That's terribly kind of you. But honestly, I think we've had enough poetry today to last a lifetime. Let me know if you change your mind. By the way, did either of you see what happened to the idealist?
Recalling the recent conflict, the indomitable girl finally hesitates.
The jailer told me she went back to the gallery once everything calmed down. She found nothing. No blood, no shell cases, not even a trace of the idealist.
Huh?
Timekeeper, now's really not the time for ghost stories.
Do you mean that maybe the idealist somehow managed to get out of there on his own? Or perhaps someone else helped him? Well, according to the idealist and our jailer, any inmates who are unwell will be taken to the physician. It's possible someone brought him there, while everyone else was shouting and running about. You're right. It could be that he's with the physician right now. I'm relieved. That was a sudden plot twist, but a visionary of his magnitude doesn't deserve to die in silence like that. To be fair, the gunshot was quite loud, as was the ensuing commotion. Nonetheless, he couldn't have just died like that. I mean, the writers would riot if a writer were to kill off a character so abruptly. But you believe he's still alive too, am I right?
She knows her words are merely a cover. She needs an answer, a real, undeniable answer.
There's nothing that we can be certain of for now. But on a brighter note, we didn't come back empty-handed from our mission either, Soneto. We found Dr. Dorez's signature in the gallery. You were right all along, Recoleta. She was here.
But we didn't see her at the gathering. Could something have happened to her? Like with the idealist?
Do you think she was also sent to the physician and never made it back? This is all just speculation. If we want to find the idealist, or Dr. Dorez, we need to speak to this physician first. Miss Recoleta, do you believe that the idealist could be your pen pal, Aleph? Whether he is or not, he's still my best lead.
The name touches a nerve once again.
Amigas, I've had this strange feeling in my gut since we got here. Something is slowing us down. Now to figure out what it is.
A silent fear grips her, like ripples suddenly appearing on a once still lake, unsettling in its quiet disturbance.
Look, it's a wild guess, but just wait till I finish. It feels like everything happening in this prison is somehow connected to my novel, El auge y la caída de la cordura. We're no strangers to wild guesses, and sometimes they're closer to the truth than you'd think. So this, the rise and fall of sanity. Sorry, what exactly is your story about?
The question scatters the midnight gloom. Outside, moonlight spills over great white snow.
Huh. Nunca pensé que te interesaría. It starts... Sorry, it's been a while since I told it from the beginning. A few years ago, I worked as a forest ranger. It happened in a desert town called Amalfitani, in Sonora, back in 1975.
The two patient listeners watch the stammering girl, waiting for the next part of her story.
You know what? Most people say the beginning's a bit hard to get into, except for Aleph. I'm thinking of rewriting it. But if you like the sound of it so far, maybe I could read you the latest part I just finished?
She studies her readers' expressions, guessing madly at their responses.
Please.
Ah, the
Todo
three of them
empezó con
sitting.
los datos de frecuencia de las cintas.
Oh, look at them. Look at Sonero. Oh my god, my Bookie.
El patrón general parecía haber cambiado. Al principio, la investigadora de paracausalidad lo atribuyó a un error estadístico. Un fallo, tal vez. Oh, sorry. But after a few days and long nights of meticulous calculations, that explanation only became less and less plausible. The odds of success and failure kept shifting, and the chance of repeating the previous result kept growing. It was as if someone had tampered with the rules and tweaked it to their liking. She took her findings to Amalfitano, the town of nothing, as they called it then. Near the old looms, she met a blind weaver who spoke softly with an old tale. I heard a strange rustling at dawn, like a die rolling along a wooden floor. Then the morning light dimmed and died. That was the last time I saw the sun. My own hands were the threads I worked with. The second time I heard the die roll, I was told the oxen in the fields sank to their knees and never stood again. By the third roll, the fields were crawling with frogs. Plows ran over them, and some still writhed, squeezing themselves deeper into the cracks in the earth. The fourth time the die rolled, 10 dormice plunged into the sea in a strange sleepwalk, and 10 bears feasted for the last time before winter arrived. The final roll of the die was cast in a cage during a duel, before a crowd of eager eyes. The winner left with 10 pounds of gold, and the loser left with 10 flies, which fell on him to feast.
My honest reaction. Yeah. The quiet spreads through their cell like a rolling tide.
Is that all? Seems like it.
Well, there's more, but I haven't quite figured those parts out yet. Any thoughts? Anything. I can take it. Please, I really need some feedback.
I wonder if the protagonist ever finds this die of Babylon in the end.
Oh, Verton, it isn't a real die, it's just a metaphor.
Oh, the die of Babylon was actually the friends we made along the way.
Oh, I see. I must have missed that. Sorry. Still, it's a beautiful story. Sad, but beautiful.
The story is still too obscure, isn't it? Aleph warned me about this. In our last correspondence, he suggested adding the blind weaver to shed light on the hidden theme. It helped at first, but even with his sage advice, no matter how hard I tried, the plot just didn't seem to move forward. Feel stuck in that village with them, lost, dazed, isolated inside their small, disconnected moments. Something crucial is missing, leaving gaps between the characters and the scenes. Should I change the storyteller's perspective? Start a different angle? Or maybe rewrite the characters completely? What should I do?
Before the writer sinks into a swirling vortex of self-doubt, someone decides to push for something tangible.
Apologies, but you said your story somehow connects to what's happening here in the Panopticon. What makes you think that?
It's a strange feeling. Like everything here belongs to a dream I once had, only I can't remember it.
Do you mean that you have a sense of deja vu? It's nothing to worry about. Our psychiatrist friend Kakanya.
Oh my god! Kakanya mentioned!
Connection between two parts of the brain, like a little glitch in our heads.
No, it's nothing like deja vu.
The storyteller snaps back, politely agitated.
Deja vu is a single moment, a specific situation, But here it's everything. La Sociedad, the rules, the idealist, even the incidents in the gallery. Each one unfolds in a similar pattern, like the grooves on a record, telling a story I feel I've listened to before. Amalfitano and Comala. They're two sides of that same record, playing out the same tune. Whatever happens in my story seems to be happening here too. I had that feeling when I met you as well, Miss Burton. At first I thought it was only an interesting coincidence. You're much like the first character in my story. A traveler with a suitcase.
Oh! This is kinda meta, guys. The girl rambles on, desperately relating to her characters.
But then I realized, the doctor, your Dores, she's like the blind weaver who lost her sight to the dye despite having always been faithful to it. And the jailer, she's the bank clerk who assisted the corporation in taking over the town in order to escape her past. And the idealist, he's the murdered donkey driver, and the dye of Babylon. No. Mis queridos amigos ficticios. ¿Qué rayos les está pasando?
Yeah.
Wait.
Yeah.
Are you saying that everyone we've met here matches a character from your story? Like some kind of archetype? That sounds unbelievable. But then again, maybe you're onto something. You see the world through a different lens that none of us share.
Not just the characters. The events here are mirroring my story too. Aleph. He's the only one who truly understood my story. If things are playing out just like my novel, then maybe Aleph is in fact still here.
Are you suggesting that someone is controlling the Panopticon in order to make it follow the same plot as your story? That they've set the rules, started the poetry group, planned the attack on the idealist, and tried to prevent us from finding Dr. Dores? If that's true, Miss Recoleta, it's very likely that the one acting against us is in fact Aleph himself.
This motherfucker. Recoleta never expected the chain of reasoning to unravel this way.
But No. How could that be possible?
She interrupts, only for confusion to creep onto her face moments later.
Why? Why would he do this? I don't see any reason why he'd be connected. He's an intelligent, cultured, and profound person, not a common killer. No, none of this adds up.
Remember, Dr. Doris was brought to Ushuaia by the Xeno rebels. And we know they're connected to Manus Vindicte. If this Aleph really is hiding Doris from us, he may be working with them.
Shit ass. Recoleta stares blankly for a time before clumsily shifting the topic.
Oh, my Soneto. I didn't know you had such a flair for stories. Maybe you should join us and become a visceral realist too. I think you're only imagining things. Perhaps you were inspired by this strange prison?
Perhaps we all need to start writing our own stories. Come out now. Whoever's out there, speak up. How can we help you?
Who's there?
Oh my. What the Sigma? Let's see. Seems about right.
Your request has been heard.
Loading.
Perfectly understood.
Target confirmed.
Keep calm. I look forward to punishing you.
Charging. Loading.
The bones will tell.
Eliminate target.
My dark embrace.
Barrage.
Flee, mortal.
Yeah. The Central Tower. Silent and merciless order of ideals.
Easy, easy. It's me, Garcia. We met at the gallery earlier.
Oh, alright.
Please, I come in peace.
Recoleta pays no mind to the young man's explanations. Her focus holds on the woman beside him. Oh, she don't give a gaff. Alright, girl. I feel you.
It's you, Octavia. The murderer.
What? What she do? What I do?
Please, calm yourself, Miss Recoleta. The jailer has already confirmed that she wasn't the one to fire at the idealist.
Yeah.
The shot came from somewhere else in the room.
What's your problem now, girl? Oh my. Recoleta bites her lip, giving up a little space to the intruders.
Miss Octavia, what brings you here at this hour?
Also, I forgot to say, but I really fuck with her design. She's so pretty. And I love okay, hear me out. I love this color combination, like brown hair and purple eyes. And I love her little thingies. Basically, she's cool as hell.
I come here out of goodwill. Believe me, I didn't want any bloodshed either. I understand you just arrived today. There's something you need to know about the inmates here.
Their visitor's expression is weary and low.
We're outcasts, rejected by society and literature, and our privileges are limited within these walls. But before I started my own literature group, I struck a deal with the Panopticon authorities. If we cooperate and stay out of trouble, they'd leave us be. We could discuss literature freely and openly in Comala. Such a thing may seem trivial to you, but this is of immense importance to us.
Oh, there's no happier thing in this world than discussing literature. No one should ever put limits on it.
You're right, Recoleta. But we're prisoners here. There are certain rules we have to follow. Except, the idealist didn't see it our way. He refused to compromise, believing that the long poem and his so-called ism could break us free from the cage of the ever-watchful eye.
Perhaps he was right. You might have achieved more if you'd listened to him. After all, visceral realism keeps us connected to who we are. You have to believe in the truth of visceral realism, because out there, beyond these walls, many of us still do.
And what has it changed? Garcia, you're the latest inmate here. Tell us, 3 months ago, before they arrested you and took you here, what has the visceral realism movement accomplished out there?
Beside them, Garcia, who had been patiently leaning against the railing, produces a metallic vibration on its grate. A rough paper roll burns between his lips.
At first, it was revolutionary. Young poets joined in droves. We held gatherings. And the literary world seemed alive again. I was just a kid when the leading poets left the city. Everyone thought it was only temporary. But they didn't come back. And nothing has happened since. No one says it. But we all know. Visceral realism died in 1977.
No, not for me. It's not dead as long as people still believe in it. I believe in it.
Octavia ignores the childish remark. She knows that conviction can be as fragile as a spider's web.
Belief, faith, what is this obsession with the true self? Why does your type always insist on there being a true self hiding beneath our roles in society? Our disciplines?
Look at the idealist. He never once stopped fighting for what he believed in, even long after he was put behind these bars.
Idealist, what a name he gave himself. Who will he be when he finally breaks free from the eyes of the central tower? When he's left without his willful audience? And nobody. That's why. And that is a truth even he is terrified of.
Miss Octavia, I hope you come with something more important to share than just some...
You're right.
Oh my god,
I
misclicked.
have an important message for you.
More important than to share than just some criticism of the idealist.
Dr. Torres, I heard you were looking for her. The woman from the Sao Paulo Veterans Residence. She used to write under the name didn't she?
Yes, that's right. Do you know her? You're the first person I've met here to speak plainly about her. Do you know where she might be?
We crossed paths, but only briefly. I'm not sure where she's gone. Maybe the authorities know. However, she left this with me. I think you'll need it more than I do.
Octavia hands over her personal folder. Before they might open it, she has already turned to leave.
We have other matters to attend to. I'll leave you to your business. Garcia, shall we?
Their visitors leave in haste, their faces and expressions obscured by the night's shadows. The Foundation's investigators open the worn manuscript folder with caution.
The physician told me the horrifying truth about the panopticon of Kamala and the power behind it. Manus Vindictae. By becoming the panopticon's sole patron, they seized control of the resources and the allocation system, turning this place into a living hell. I suspect that the physician, the current highest authority here, is responsible for this situation. I discovered that the inmates were put through brutal training, even when they were too sick to carry out their tasks. They also forced pure-blood Arcanist inmates to wear their masks, effectively turning them into murmuring puppets.
Just as we suspected, Manus Vindictae is orchestrating everything. No wonder we didn't find them in the city. They've been hiding here all along.
No one would have thought to come looking for them here.
They snap the folder shut. A familiar signature, seen on the forward page of a Two magazine, and the receipt found in São Paulo's heartfelt home.
But why would Miss Octavia bring this to us? What's in it for her? Do you think she's trying to mislead us, Timekeeper?
Maybe. But the handwriting in that notebook is most certainly Erd's. If she's leading us astray on purpose, why? Miss Recoleta, what do you think? Could she be Aleph?
Not a chance. Haven't you seen how she denies everything beautiful in the world? Aleph would never be so biased. No. Aleph is like a mirror. He reflects both light and shadow. But, Octavia, maybe she hasn't looked at the shadow within for a long time. I know that look on her face. It's the look of a writer. I've seen so many like her during my trip. The faces of a lost, struggling generation.
Huh. Curious. Under the night sky, Kamala Prison stands like a forgotten gravestone covered by fine, cold snow. In a room repurposed from a prison cell, 3 girls in search of someone shared an absurd, bizarre tale. Meanwhile, at the entrance of the central watchtower, a jaguar knocks on a secure door.
Dr. Merlin, I'm here to report on today's events.
Come in.
Frantic writing breaks the quiet of the room. The jailer's visit does not deter the man behind the desk. He continues writing, wholly absorbed as if each letter were filling the world around him.
There was a commotion in the gallery today, sir. An inmate known as the Idealist was severely injured. The inmates nearby said he lost consciousness from blood loss. However, after we put everyone back in their cell, the idealist was gone. I made a sweep of the grounds, but there was no trace of him. It's possible that he regained consciousness and went into hiding. I'll perform a full search tomorrow.
The Jaguar finds herself quite unexpectedly concealing the truth about Pablo.
No need.
Sir?
He knew the consequences of breaking Knot.
Sir, with all due respect, I think today's incident proved just how dangerous it is to let the inmates keep their weapons. We never should have let them walk around with deadly weapons. Even if we had to, we should have doubled the guards. We can't expect them to follow their own rules simply out of fear of the central tower.
The physician interrupts her sharply, with no hint of concern.
Such matters fall beyond your purview, jailer. You only need to do what's required of your title. Is there anything else?
There is another thing. 2 guests from the Foundation came through today. They said they were looking for someone named Doris. They've shown a willingness to cooperate, though they were involved with the incident in corridors here.
The sound of writing continues. Her report is disregarded. The jailer takes a deep breath. The next part is difficult to say.
Sir, there is one more thing. I told Miss Octavia we're short on rations, and she's adjusted the inmates' portions accordingly, but that won't last long. Manus Vindicti stopped providing supplies back in March, and Sino has collected all the prisoners they had previously placed in her custody. I just wonder why they have so suddenly withdrawn from Ushuaia and brought all the prisoners with them. I also noticed that we haven't received any orders from the government since Warden Tartuffe was transferred. In fact, we haven't had any communication with them at all. Sir, in frank terms, we're facing down a serious shortage of medicine, food, and basic supplies. At this rate, the Panopticon will soon be unable to operate. Where will our inmates go then?
The man before her says nothing for a long time, his pen still flickering over the page.
Can we ask the Foundation for help? They've sent their people here. Maybe they're interested in the Panopticon? I could arrange a meeting if you like.
You're unusually talkative today.
The man finally stops writing and looks up.
Pardon, sir?
That's fascinating, you know. You've become so much more concerned about this place and its inmates than when you first started. You are now dictated by your title.
I didn't mean to overstep. I'm sorry.
You can go now. I have a great deal of work to do. Oh, and one more thing.
He beckons the jailer back before she leaves.
Make sure this month's Kamala Congress is held according to schedule.
Yes, sir.
The Jaguar disappears beyond the door, metallic footsteps fading into the distance. Only then does the physician allow his suppressed frustration to surface.
How many times have I warned you about this? The idealist has to go. He's nothing but trouble for us. You're too soft on him, Aleph. Look at the mess he has us in now. Calm down. He's a rabble-rousing thief, a self-destructive maniac, a snake in the grass. He even stole the tea of Kamala from me. He's nearly ruined everything we've worked for.
The man angrily raises the once lost and now found die. In the dim room, it flickers with a comforting glow.
It's only a die, Merlin. It does nothing more than a die can do. You were there today. You saw what he did. He managed to change the Panopticon with this die, even if only for a second. He'll ruin my work, Aleph. He's a slave to his passion. His head is filled with impulsive thoughts. I don't trust him. We can't trust him. I've done everything you've asked. Now it's time to do your part.
Aleph responds with indifference to the physician's frustration, continuing his writing without pause.
Time's ticking down. I can't afford any further mistakes. No one can be permitted to stop my experiment in the Panopticon. I'll prove it to them that we have found the path to the ultimate answer.
Huh. Curious. The ant mill. Alright. This will be the last stage for today. And we'll finish Folie de Raison on the next stream for Rivers. So yeah, the ant mill. The truth is, no one can truly bend fate.
La cabaña con el techo azul estaba silenciosa como siempre. En un sueño fugaz, la investigadora de paracausalidad descubrió la verdad detrás del dado de Babilonia. Examinó cuidadosamente los patrones ocultos, como un astuto astrólogo rastrea los movimientos de las estrellas. Lo que pueda parecer errores o accidentes no niega las verdades del destino. Por el contrario, afirma en su existencia. Solo pregúntale al gran Heráclito. En un universo no observado, el dado de Babilonia gira perpetuamente, dictando el destino de todos en un tiempo que es tanto infinitamente largo como infinitamente corto. Mira, cerró los ojos. Respetaba la aleatoriedad de los números y el destino. Respetaba el juicio del dado. De lo contrario, se habría perdido sumisamente en los huecos del tiempo y bajaría para siempre como un fantasma en el olvido.
In the solemn prison hall, under the half-light of the next day, the prisoners of Kamala gather. Octavia steps onto the podium with a stern expression.
First, allow me to make one thing clear. I had absolutely nothing to do with what happened to the idealist yesterday. I swear it on my career as a writer. As you all know, the idealist and I are the representatives of the two factions of La Sociedad de Poetas de las Américas. As you also know, we have been at peace since the Let Sleeping Dogs Lie agreement was signed a few months ago. Despite our differing views, we have coexisted to this day under the watchful gaze of the Central Tower. Rest assured that we will work tirelessly to locate the missing idealist.
Don't put so much pressure on yourself, Miss Octavia. His death wasn't your fault. After all, he was the one who threw the first verbal dagger.
The murmurs cascading below reach the ears of the prisoners from another faction.
Show some respect, you morons. The idealist is missing, not dead. I'm sure he's dropped in one piece before we know it.
Better face the hard truth now, Roberta. Though, I have to say, it won't be easy for you to find a new leader as mad as him.
A polite cough from the hostess pauses the heated debate.
Please, everyone, quiet down. According to the agreement, today's Congress should have been chaired by the idealist. Since he is still missing, I will be acting on his...
Pardon my lateness. Go ahead. I'm ready to moderate.
Unfamiliar footsteps break the regular pattern of events. The jailer leads her visitors to the entrance of the prison hall.
Miss Ford, I looked over the incarceration and visitor records from the past 6 months. There was no mention of anyone named Doris.
Then it seems only the physician knows the whereabouts of Dr. Doris. Miss Jailer, we need to meet with the physician. It's important.
Listen, you really shouldn't take the inmate's ramblings too seriously.
Considering the identity of the person before her, the jailer softens her tone.
But if it's as critical as you say, I'll make another request later. That said, I'm afraid the meeting won't happen for at least a few days.
Understood.
For now, please join us for today's Congress.
Espectacular! Do you hold literary salons like this every day? This place is practically a writer's paradise. So, you're the host of the salon, Octavia?
I say we set aside our differences and have a titillating literary discussion.
Okay, bruh.
You've come at the right time. You may serve as witnesses for the Congress alongside the jailer, like a citizen's jury in a court.
Your suggestion aligns with the congressional rules. Very well.
Congress? Witnesses? Isn't this a salon? Which topic are we discussing? Literary theories? Schools? Principles? Languages? Oh, narrative perspectives?
None of those.
Octavia lowers her head, giving her questioner a long and deep look.
This Congress is about the randomness of fate, Miss Recoleta.
What the Sigma?
Randomness of fate?
As she sinks into confusion and bewilderment, the jailer's voice rises into a triumphant introduction.
Dear visitors from the Foundation, allow me to introduce the Kamala Congress. What happened yesterday was merely a brief anomaly. In the Panopticon, spontaneous order among the inmates is the norm, and the Kamala Congress serves as its truest reflection.
Spontaneous order?
Yes. Through the Congress, the inmates assign and distribute medication, communal duties, and rest periods. They are entirely self-regulated.
Her tone is filled with pride.
I hereby announce the commencement of the 7th Kamala Congress.
As her words fall, Octavia takes out a worn lottery box and a small trinket from her hand. The prisoners move in perfect order, like a swarm of ants.
A cardboard box, and is that a paper die? It has 20 sides.
Okay, so now roll a net 20.
We carefully examine hidden patterns, much like an astute astrologer tracks the movements of the stars.
Isn't this...
From somewhere in the audience, the girl unconsciously mumbles a revelation.
Isn't this just like the Die of Babylon? The MacGuffin that weaves through the entire plot? The infinite symbiote of fate? And the symbol that compresses time into a shriveled circle?
What may seem like errors or accidents doesn't negate the verities of destiny. On the contrary, they affirm its very existence. Just ask the great Heraclito. In an unobserved universe, the die spins in perpetuity.
Dictating the fate of all in time that is both infinitely long and infinitely short?
Look, I've closed my eyes. I respect the randomness of the numbers and destiny. I respect the die's judgment.
As the prisoners recite their announcements, the author's voice becomes more and more sluggish.
Otherwise, we will acquiesce and lose ourselves in the gaps of time and wander forever as ghosts in oblivion.
I don't understand what's going on. Oh, but the irony that I probably have more idea what's going on than anyone here.
Miss Recoleta, this is all in your novel, isn't it?
I'm afraid so. The recitations, the references to an astrologer and Heraclito, they couldn't possibly be just a coincidence. Then, could it be? Will they look to the die to dictate their fate?
The girl's audible shock does not affect the proceedings on stage. The Congress continues.
I shall perform the first roll. Its result will determine the subsequent roll order for this Congress. The result is 5. This check complies with the prerequisite conditions of the ruling of the die, and the standard roll order has been established. Inmate Jose, please come forth. You are the first in the initiative order. Therefore, Fate's judgment shall fall upon you before all else.
Me? Okay.
The prisoner steps forward, taking the fragile box in his hands, shaking it to roll the die of absurd fate inside. The die stops, and just like that, a simple number decides his fate.
17! It's 17! Ah, what a wonderful number! 17! Like an oasis in an endless desert.
The result is 17, and the score combination 6 plus 4 plus 4 plus 3. According to the ruling of the die, he shall receive 60 risperidone tablets, 40 clozapine tablets, and 40 diazepam tablets. Additionally, he will assume the role of cultural manager of the Comala Congress. Before he takes office, inmate Jose must clean the first restroom for the next 7 days.
Wonderful! I'll gladly clean the toilet. I've got the brooms here, the toilet detergent, oh, and the toilet brush too. I have been waiting for this opportunity. As cultural manager, I will speak with every inmate and complete the Comala memoir, finally capturing the moments when literary sparks ignite and explode.
Next is inmate Eduardo. Please come forth.
The man in question is a nervous mass. His gaze flickers, his eyebrows fight for space on his forehead, and his teeth clash against each other in turmoil.
But I can't remember the ruling of the die. I can't remember anything. Damn it. Sorry, Senora Octavia, but I don't think I can do this. I didn't get any medication in the last Congress. I've had multiple episodes. It's like my brain's jammed or something.
It's all right, inmate Eduardo. It's easy. You don't need to know the rules to roll the die. Give me your hand, I'll help you.
The prisoner follows suit, his hands trembling as he shakes the box, the only thing he can do.
My sincerest apologies, inmate Eduardo. The die dictates that you must voluntarily descend into the sewers and write the thematic keyword that currently causes you the most anxiety on the walls.
I thank you very much, Miss Octavia. I think my head's about to split in half. I need a moment to rest before I head down there and fulfill my destiny.
Clutching his head, the prisoner leaves, his steps heavy, his hands empty, but his brow finally falling at ease.
Jailer, are you really letting them make every decision with the roll of a die? Eduardo is clearly in a much more dire condition than Jose. The medication should have been given to him.
As I said, this is how the inmates of the Panopticon maintain order. The physician periodically provides medication, food, and other necessities, and the inmates distribute them in this spontaneous and efficient manner. Neither authority nor violence is involved in this process. This is what sets Comala apart from all other custodial facilities.
Is that it? You abdicate all agency to the roll of a paper die and call it the randomness of fate? What kind of sick joke is this?
Please calm down, Recoleta. This is the method that the inmates have collectively decided to recognize. They're prepared to face the possible sacrifices that it brings. This isn't about you or me. It's not our place to interfere with a procedure that has been proven both pragmatic and effective. My duty is to assist the inmates in maintaining order through the methods that they have established. And yours is to witness their self-governance, not judge it.
The jailer takes a deep breath, her words clearly meant to convince herself as much as anyone listening.
If everything somehow unfolds as it does in my novel, then every role is already predetermined. Vertin, do you remember the story I told you last night? The odds of both success and failure were consecutively multiplied. I remember. As soon as a character experiences a failure, they continue to suffer failures in an endless chain reaction. None of Eduardo's future dice rolls will ever result in a number higher than 10.
At this rate, this system, this sociedad, ruled by the dice of Babylon, is bound to collapse.
She looks around, realizing that her words, weighty as they seem to her, have garnered no attention.
Eduardo will never receive any medication. The moment he writes the keyword on the wall could very well be the moment he spells out his own death. No, I can't let this happen. I have to do something.
Recoleta rushes to the stage.
Wait, Miss Recoleta, what are you doing?
Oh my god. And this is where we'll be leaving it today. And I think next week we'll be resuming this chapter. And oh my god, I'm not really understanding anything. Like, oh my. Actually, it's just 1.4 to me all over again. I didn't really get it, but sure. What the hell, sure. Well, I don't really understand, and yeah. But it's cool. I think it's fine. But yeah. This is it for today. I hope you guys had fun. I hope you guys understood the story at least a little bit more than me. And I think I'll be, well, I won't go after any spoilers, but I'll be trying to at least grasp whatever's happening. And well, that's it for today. Bye guys. I hope everyone had fun, and see you guys next stream.